It's October 30th, and you know what that means. It is time for the Too Sweet Wrestling Podcast, and here we are with the Too Sweet Click. We got Chase 2850. We have the Jordan. I can't get over the Macho Man.
It's Macho J-Man Jordy Savage. Dig it.
And we got the WCW TV down in the chat in the panel as well. Welcome here, guys. We are on the eves of Halloween, and in this video, we will be talking about WCW, Halloween Havoc, and more. So, guys, why don't you go ahead and say hello to the viewers tonight?
Adios. Oh, wait, I botched that already, didn't I?
Vámonos, Double Z. Cállate.
All right, tu madre.
Hello, everybody in the live chat. Hello, Killer Demon 669 and Charles the Ringmaster Ringy. How you doing? Are you doing a good time on this eve of Halloween? Good, yeah.
Chase's costume is just of a generic pissed off gentleman.
I'm saving my stuff for tomorrow. I don't feel like wearing no damn mask.
What
So,
a lucky
all I got is my knife.
person you are.
What's going on, chat? What's up, Charles and
Here's
Killer
all
of Demons? What's going on?
When you say what's going on, it reminds me of someone that says, "What's going on, ladies and gentlemen?"
I think he died.
Oh, someone at my doorbell. It's DoorDash, something that you would know something about, Ulysses. I'll be right back. It's a date. Don't be late.
As a matter of fact, yeah, I just got off
DoorDash is
work.
early in the stream, folks.
Here
Hey,
we
I didn't
go.
get a chance to eat. I can't cook because, fuck, I'm just going to have to order food.
So, before we get into where's your cup of coffee?
I got your cup of coffee hanging. Check the audio. Okay.
Hey, why is my eye burning real quick? Oh shit.
That
So
new
before we tackle the Halloween Havoc, this is going to be covered under the more section of the video. I want to give my quick thoughts on ROH releasing all their talent earlier this week. I know there's a lot of rumors and speculation on where some of them will go. I know there was an article leaked that on Twitter that a lot of the talent was reached and contacted by Tony Khan. I know Jay Lethal was one of them. Would kind of like to see, maybe see what would happen if he went over down to NXT 2.0. I do know ROH said something about jump starting and rebranding sometime in the new year. They want to start going back to live shows as well. So that's something that they're planning on doing. And I'm just curious as to where some of their talent's going to go because there's not that many options. You got WWE,
Forgot to
AEW.
change my avatar. Hold on. There we go. That's right.
We got NWA and New Japan. So don't know, but let's see what happens. What are you guys' thoughts real quick on the on ROH releasing their talent? Hey, Pop.
Not gonna lie, it's kind of weird for them.
I really look like Dean Ambrose.
Well, you do look like a lunatic fringe. I mean, you look like one every day.
And you look like the Mistake Macho Man. Pretty much.
You look like you want a hot dog.
Oh,
Who,
man.
me?
Well, no, he wants a gummy worm. There's a difference.
I'm going to whack one of you motherfuckers one day.
Ooh,
Bring it
so
on.
scared.
Always the goddamn gummy worm. God damn, man. Everybody leave that shit alone.
I said a hot dog, not a gummy worm.
He brought up the gummy worm, the freaking cheap-ass Macho Man 2.0.
Yeah,
Oh, you
so
mean that thing
says
you
you,
love
the
having
cheap
down your throat, you surprisingly
Dean
do not
Ambrose
gag on?
look alike.
I need freaking food right now.
Well, I got
The gummy
food for you
worm.
right here, because this podcast is sponsored by McDonald's. Ba, 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 ba. I'm loving it. Dig it.
Sponsored by shit.
I'd like to see your fat ass smile. Just not
But
too
either
much.
way, what do I think about ROH releasing all of its talent, all of its employees? Well, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of bad. But I will say, though, it might have something to do with them revamping, rebooting their little product. But I will say, though, at least they'll be having indie contractors work. So it'll be just like the old days of Ring of Honor, only different. Because it used to be an indie promotion before it became a major promotion, alongside with the WWE and Impact before then when it was TNA.
But hold on, aren't they bringing them back by next year in January or so?
Not if they're contracted to other companies.
So this
They
could
wanna-
also say that all the titles will be vacated too.
They want to bring them back as independent contractors, which means that they'd be in control of having to take care of their own medical and their own travel expenses, I would assume. Just like how WWE is labeling theirs as independent contractors now, and they're not actually talent.
And what's going to be the situation with the titles?
All of them would probably be vacated. They're probably no longer champions. They'll probably reintroduce all new titles. And when they do the relaunch in 2022.
Yeah, a cup of coffee in the big time, Charles. Yeah.
Cup of coffee. What in the world? When you come to the podcast and we're all wearing stupid shit.
What are you calling stupid?
I don't know. But yeah, so I mean,
Dressed like Hulk Hogan.
Probably I wouldn't mind sharing it, but I don't think I could share it on the show.
If you were dressing like Hulk Hogan, I would take you down a peg or two.
I don't know. I mean, I think I have a Hulk Hogan shirt around here somewhere.
Ooh,
No, I don't.
You're testing me now.
I gotta bring this up. I thought I put on the CM Punk shirt, but I put on the Rock T-shirt. Sadly, so this isn't actually. I had to buy another one because this is a true story. Because I bought one, and if you go to my Facebook from 2011, I bought the shirt immediately when it came out. That original is no longer with me because when I met a female girl, hooked up that night. After she got off work, came to my place, and here's the problem. If you get a girl that comes visit you or, for the night or whatever, in the morning, she, instead of putting on her own work shirt back on, she'll take one of your shirts.
Yeah, it happens.
And it's like, you can take a shirt, but don't take one of my favorite shirts. So it's been this shirt, there was a House of Pain shirt, and there was another one, a Guns N' Roses shirt, and they never brought them back.
I will go to her house and get all my stuff back. Hey, what's up, David?
I never asked for the address because she always came to me, or they always came to me. But I try to text them and say, hey, where's my shirt? I want it back, please. So this is an extra one. I have 2 more of these because you don't know because they might stop selling them.
That's when you turn around, you take a shirt and you give it to her, and you give her the shittiest shirt you have.
I would, yes, but they just take one. They just take one. Like,
that's when you be like, do I go to your house and put your panties on my head?
What?
Hey, it's kind of like what he's doing right there.
Double Z's like he has no problem wearing a mask, but too lazy to make his bed. But then again, I can't blame him.
Well, I want to know
So the
his
guy who's
opinion.
more sexually frustrated than anybody else and uses the reason to be on the stream all pissed off and shit.
I know one of tonight's events, we're going to talk about Jordan's, one of his most favorite matches ever of Halloween Havoc, and that's the Ultimate Warrior and Hogan match.
Oh, don't even get me started. And the only reason I'm manifesting inside the body of Jordan Little is because this is not just a one-time deal this past Thursday. Oh, no. In fact, tomorrow, I'm going to take over his channel and do a live Q&A. Yeah.
I'm also thought about doing face paint, so just try maybe Ultimate Warrior or something. I don't think I want to wear a mask tomorrow night.
Where the Briscoes going to go? Well, I heard that they've been in talks with Tony Khan of AEW, something I want to do one day. I mean, after all, I take every one of those posers down and show them macho madness. Yeah.
But when we get to Halloween Havoc, should we talk about some of our favorites, or should we go with what happened in Halloween Havoc a few days ago?
We're gonna talk about WCW Halloween Havoc. We're gonna talk about our favorite matches from Halloween Havoc. I think if we were to talk about pay-per-views, it'd be really long. So I downgraded it from pay-per-views to matches, because I do want to talk about some other stuff too. So we're just gonna talk about the WCW matches. I do want to touch on the WCW Halloween, the WWE NXT Halloween Havoc. We'll touch about that because I saw some of the highlights and I saw a lot of botches. Especially in the women's match, the triple threat ladder match, I think it was.
That BWO.
Bubba Dog fucking you dumb motherfucker.
The Briscoes are shooing to go to AEW just because of FTR.
And we got Peter in the chat saying, just want to say, F Halloween and every holiday, have a great show, lads. Okay, Peter, what's troubling you, Peter?
Halloween is the one day a year where you don't have to be yourself. What the hell?
I heard that.
Zach looks like a popped pimple with that mask on.
I'm Bubba Dog Funky, goddammit.
He looks like the dude that's trying to steal Wrestling Otaku's girlfriend.
I hate John Cena, I hate PG shit, and I hate this ugly motherfucker who can deep throat a fucking gummy worm and not choke on it.
Ooh.
How can he shove a gummy worm down his throat and not even gag?
Well, by the way, also with the new, I saw the thumbnails, the new ones that you made, and this one you have is a new one, but you made some other newer ones because I was late sending you a new picture.
Yeah, when I purchased I went ahead and I purchased a 10 thumbnail bundle, and I was like, you know what, the one picture I have of you with the glasses, I was like, you know what, it's a good enough, it looks good, so I was like, you know what, I'm not even going to stress it, but I definitely needed a new one for Jordan because he looked like he was like 12. I mean, you look smarter than you are.
Close enough. They're now in the process of getting my leather strap this month, finally.
Did you get your plates?
Huh?
Did you get your plates?
No, I have not been able to find another pair. Which really makes me mad. Oh, by the way, to the dumb motherfuckers that show off their belt and it's one of those plastic ones for $20, you're a piece of shit. So, I won't say the name, but apparently, because somebody sent me a clip of something, and a guy was holding the same belt, and they want to know if it was real or not because the dude said apparently he's paid $500 for it, which of course this isn't $500, it's less than that. But no, you can tell it's a commemorative, it's plastic, it's cheap shit. So, yeah. So if you guys need belt questions, I can pretty much answer them. And this is metal.
Killer of Demons 669 says, wife wants me to go to a stupid party so I could watch her get drunk. No thanks.
You gotta do what you want, man.
I agree.
You made the choice to be with her, so you gotta do whatever you gotta do to make her happy. So, be tired of like 3 hours of sleep. If she wants you to rub her back for 3 hours, you better do it.
Kind of like what he does when he has to make himself happy too.
Well, yeah, he rubs it out pretty much 8 hours a day.
It must be raw at that point.
I cannot.
No, it's just like he's at the point where he's freaking like about to go blind, and he ends up thinking about other men.
Why, getting a little too hot under there for you, Zach?
Have you ever had your head under that freaking fat Bubba Funkin' mask ever? It is hot as hell, and I can't see out the damn thing.
Well, what about the other ones? You were breathing. You look pretty. You looked like you were fine.
Those don't even fit right.
Those don't fit right.
El Generico was the closest one, but yet it was starting to cover like the roof of my mouth.
Ole,
I'd rather watch Agent Point chase and slit my wrist faster.
Before we go any further, to people watching, how's the audio? Should we put on our headset just in case?
I have my headphones in.
What about? Because I mean, I have like Double Z. You have your headphones in, Double Z?
No, mine's on the desk.
Just want to make sure.
I only have mine in. I only have my earbuds in because I can't put my other headphones on with this hat on.
Yeah, I did. Boston Garden. I took it from him in the Boston Garden, 19.
We're all still waiting for JC to fly away like a tanuki. He's just missing the tail.
Okie dokie.
Peter says, I'd rather watch a bald-headed small cat deadbeat sit on my effing wrists, slit my wrists. Oh, rather than take your woman out? Come on, man. That's like saying you want to commit suicide, dude.
Did you take the IC title from Tito Macho Man?
I just answered the question, Mr. Sarcasm. I did. Like I said before, Boston Gardens, 1986.
The Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship belt.
Yeah, you're right. It is the Heavyweight Championship belt. I held it for 14 months.
Where's your belt, J-Man or Macho Man?
Macho J-Man, smart.
Don't try to make him break character.
It's right here.
There you
Right
go.
here. Yeah.
There you go. Oh,
Where's
face
Liz,
Macho Man
Randy?
in a match and take his woman away and show him who's the real Macho Man.
Where's Liz, Randy? Asks Killer Demon.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, she couldn't be here today. You only get one chance in the afterlife to take over a body. Unfortunately, she didn't want to take over another woman's body. Otherwise, it could have been a transsexual. Who knows?
Could have been a transformer.
Oh man, we all know how that feels for Mr. Double Z here.
Excuse me? Fuck you, Savage.
Yeah,
You ain't
well,
Randy
guess
Savage.
what?
You're more like Fred Savage.
Oh yeah, that's real smart coming from you.
What? Because you got nothing creative to come back with?
No, it's because you have nothing creative to actually throw at me. Like, come on, you got
I
something
just
better.
did, you ugly motherfucker.
Oh man, let me
Ow.
say this out loud. And let me point to you, the president of the World Wrestling Federation.
We're listening.
Yeah,
What the
we're
hell have
pointing-
we gotten ourselves into tonight?
I have no idea.
Apparently, Macho Man didn't snort enough cocaine tonight.
Oh man, you been sneaking in my bedroom lately, man? I mean, that's not.
No,
cool.
why would I want to go in your bedroom? You cheap,
I mean,
good,
that's
motherfucker. God damn.
You're the one who wants to go after my coke stash. You stay away, otherwise, man, I'll get black machismo on you.
Oh, please. I'm sure you can afford enough coke.
No blackface.
Sharon is Karen, but it doesn't apply to me.
Alrighty. We'll go ahead. We're going to start the intro for the podcast, and we're going to get into our matches for Halloween Havoc. We'll sit tight, and we'll be right back. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, goosting ghosts.
That's only 75% true. Apparently, Double Z fell off the chair.
Uh-oh.
So, I don't know where he went. I'm not his fucking secretary.
Hey, Spectral, what's going on, bro?
Oh, man. Yes, we got Macho Man Randy Savage tonight. There you go.
The Ayatollah of Coca-Cola needed a goddamn refreshment.
Do you have some coke right now?
Duh, what do you think I went to just get?
That's not enough.
No, eventually I'll need more. That's the only thing that's keeping me alive.
Probably snorts a lot of coke, man.
I'm a coke addict.
Oh, man.
So, who wants to start off with their 5 favorite? I always start off every week, so why don't someone else take the reins first this week?
Didn't get a chance to watch that much because I've been busy doing things. Not like what you've been doing.
Oh, you mean,
Wait, who are you pointing at? I don't know who you're pointing at. Where's that finger going? I can't tell if it's down, sideways, or in between. Who are you pointing at? I can't
well,
freaking
obviously, if
tell.
I was pointing at you, I'd be like this.
He's pointing down there, Nimrod.
What, at his dick?
No, not mine.
Oh, you're on full of stuff.
better not be pointing at mine.
Educational purposes, people. Fuck that shit.
This
All
is
right.
YouTube. Nothing's educational on here.
One thing I
No.
do want to talk about, I mean, as far as the Halloween Hammock, I do want to talk about, the match involving Braun Breaker for sure.
Well, we will, but right
We'll
now
get to
we're
that.
focused on WCW. We'll get there.
Okay.
Don't jump the gun.
Mr. Impatient.
Oh man, from what I've seen and on that, he is impatient.
Yeah, I gotta admit that. Yeah, I'm impatient. It's like I want to get to the boobs already. God damn.
Don't break your laptop now.
No
See, shit
promises.
like this is why I've
Yo,
always
and
been
don't
more
break-
of your mediator to make sure you don't
Don't-
freaking kill somebody.
Don't break that hand. You'll need to use it
It's
later.
like I have no food or a pretty girl right now to keep me compliant.
That's
Hey,
why
neither
I
do
said.
I. You don't see me trying to break shit.
Well, we're different people. It's like once you taste pie, you're pretty much, you're addicted.
Man,
Too much info.
I wish I
Too
had
much
pie
info.
right now.
You should know about this stuff, man. Damn.
Half of this panel does. One is waiting till marriage.
Well, let's
So
put it on
marriage.
this hand, okay? Let's weigh it out. Do I know about it? Yes, but do I need it all the time? No.
I pretty much do with this. What the hell? I have to deal with a lot of idiots daily, so what do you expect?
Double Z
His
versus
dick ain't gonna
Zubair,
suck
and whoever
itself.
wins all becomes the undisputed Ayatollah of Coca-Cola.
People think more of their dicks than
I
their
got
brains.
Zubair beat, Spectral. Come on.
Wait, did you say Zubair?
Yeah,
Where is Zubair?
he's been around.
Well, yeah, he was on a stream a few nights ago talking baseball.
Did you guys see the photo of Eddie Kingston's face in the crotch of Daniel Bryan? No, I did not.
Oh!
Nor do we want to.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. He certainly has the picture or able to put it in the private chat, or I don't know. Like, I have not seen that.
Sounds like he had his face too much in someone else's pelvis.
Your Intercontinental belt, how thick are the plates? Are they just thin or are they a little bit thicker?
They're thicker than yours, I'll tell you that right now.
I doubt that.
Oh, you doubt that now, but get this. This is real plating, while yours only has a big logo with those so-called diamonds.
Well, just so everybody knows, the belts that we have are metal. They're not that plastic stuff you get at Walmart.
Well, yeah, you think this is from Walmart, but I'm
I didn't say it was from
right
Walmart. I just
now.
want to know. There's two different kinds. There's either the 4 millimeters or the 2 millimeters. I wasn't sure which
Yeah.
one you had.
Yeah, 2 millimeters. That kind of sounds familiar.
You got Double Z thinking, oh, yeah, I'm well aware of 2 millimeters.
Charles, why'd you have to forward me the photo?
Oh, can you screen share it?
Well, it would, but it's like on the same web browser. Oh, boy.
Anyway, so we're
I
gonna
don't
get
want
into
to show
the.
this. We might get flagged if I show this shit.
Yeah, I'm not. We'll
Like,
look
okay,
at it
well,
afterwards.
We'll just send it through private Facebook in the group thing.
I'm going to vomit.
Oh, God, he's got his head right between his nuts.
All
He's sucking
right.
up a
So
goat.
nuts.
Hold
right.
my nuts.
All right. So
Oh,
since
that's
no
not
one
porn.
wants
That's
to,
bestiality at this point.
so if no one wants to jump in, I'll just go with the first match then. So for one of my favorites, it's Halloween Havoc '96. It's a WCW Cruiserweight Championship match. It's Dean Malenko versus Rey Mysterio. The reason why I chose this is because I was always fond of the cruiserweights. I always enjoyed their wrestling matches. I always enjoyed, the high flying, and then also the cool thing about it too is that they're Dean Malenko, not a high flyer. He was more of a technical ground guy. So it was also pretty cool to see a change up every once in a while. And these guys always had great matches. Rey Mysterio and Dean Malenko, Rey Mysterio and Eddie and Dean Malenko, Benoit, Dean Malenko. These guys all had great matches together through the lengths of their career. These guys were always, wrestling. They always had phenomenal matches. Never had a bad match between them. So this was one of my favorites. It just sucks that Dean Malenko stepped away as early as he did in the early 2000s of WWE. Because I think he could have been, he could have had a couple more years, but he wasn't young either when he was in WCW too. So I can understand why he stepped away when he did.
Neither was I, but at least I had a better run in WCW.
Definitely this was a 5-star match. It was very enjoyable to watch. Now for the other card, I don't know. I know this was the first under the NWO era, as they coined it. So again, you get what you get with WCW at that era.
Yeah, no doubt.
So what about you guys? Do you guys remember the match? What were your thoughts?
I only remember
didn't see
my
it.
matches.
It's been a long time for me, and all these classic matches, I don't want to see them as the same way, before. Like the way that they're edited nowadays, like the music and everything, I can't stand it.
Well, the cool thing about WCW is that most of their music is still, especially the early days of WCW, like the mid '90s and stuff. All their content is still pretty much the same, with the exception of certain things. But
That
it's
also
not.
certain scenes are removed, certain parts.
Yeah, certain parts, yes, but like I know, for example, Rey Mysterio's music, Dean Malenko's music, they all had the same still from back when they were wrestling in WCW. So that a lot of the WCW stuff hasn't been touched. It's more the the WWE stuff, a lot of the Attitude Era stuff, which sucks because that's what made the show so great.
For sure.
Couldn't say it any better myself.
Zach,
For one of my matches,
yeah, go ahead.
like I said, I've only got 4 matches to list. One I can put on here that I'm pretty sure like people will remember fondly. Goldberg DDP 1998, the match that got cut off from pay-per-view feeds. Probably Goldberg's best match. I know some people have given some other matches that he's had that have been probably they prefer a little bit more. But this was like Goldberg's standout match because like Goldberg still had the streak going on, DDP #1 contender. You had the whole thing about Goldberg getting his arm worked on. You had that classic moment of DDP trying, like, countering out of the jackhammer, laying on his feet, diamond cutter, barely a near fall after like a long attempt for a count out. Goldberg still got the win. Classic back and forth match. I mean, it's better than any match that freaking Goldberg even had in WWE, but then again, he didn't have a whole lot of good talent to really work with. And
I
if he's
agree
not
with
watching
that.
everybody, but that's still probably one of my personal favorites.
I was just saying that little thing in the chat. I agree with that because I won.
If anyone who's a Goldberg fan, Goldberg was huge back then, and people like he still brings up that match, and people go and watch that match, and they want to know why it's one of his best matches ever.
Spectral says Dean Malenko is called the Iceman because he has no personality. Wrestling ability is all he has. Yes, but the thing is, that's what makes him great. Is he doesn't rely on an over gimmick. He's not a spot monkey. He's just all about the wrestling. He's probably in the 90s, he was probably the most throwback to throwback wrestlers that they had. Even up to him stepping away from the in-ring competition, he was a throwback. He was just technical submissions. He didn't ever have anything flashy. So I think that's what made him so great was just because he didn't need the over larger than life personality to get him over. He was just over because of his in-ring ability.
Well, they tried giving him one, that whole double hose 7 thing later on in his WWE run.
Yeah, no.
I still look at Dean
Malenko on his
Malenko.
side and trying to fuck Lita despite having a wedding ring on.
Now, I still look at Dean Malenko. When they did that thank you, it was Dean Malenko, Punk, Jericho, and Taz.
Yeah.
And he just didn't really say anything. He just like, come on, like, be happy, dudes. Give more than just thank you. That's it. Come on, man.
Hey, shout out to Nick in the chat. What's up? Welcome to the streaming.
What up, Nick?
I got some good matches that I had back in the day. I mean, the one I hated the most was against the Zodiac.
The Zodiac. Oh my God.
I'm not gonna lie. I was told by Bischoff just to take him out, and then what happens? It's a dud. I know I can do better than 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Should we also add Chucky to the show? Should we also talk a little bit about Chucky since this is Halloween time? And there is some Chucky involved in Halloween Havoc from then and now.
I'll still drop a big elbow on him too, but all right.
Yeah, we could talk about that at some point.
It's easy that way.
Yeah. I want to try to stick to the matches for right now. Does Chase, do you have a match that you could think of from WCW Halloween Havoc?
Definitely with the one as far as DDP has had some good matches in Halloween Havoc, definitely from Macho Man to Goldberg. And
Ooh.
I will put out there was some other ones as well. I mean, with Rick Steiner and so you go on and damn, because it's been a long time since I've watched those pay-per-views, and I'll be honest, I've been trying to make time to do it. That's why I haven't really done much of anything on YouTube or anything like that. So, but when I think about those days, and I'm not going to go ever watch the Ultimate Warrior match that happened at Halloween Havoc. I'll never watch that again. So
You want to see a good Ultimate Warrior match? Watch me and him at WrestleMania 7.
But I'm talking about Halloween Havoc, what he did.
It doesn't matter. He had a great match with me, and that was his only great last match he had with me.
Yeah. Or
And
if
he
you want,
survived 5 elbow drops.
but I know how much.
Exactly. And I'll give you 6 if you don't be careful.
It's like laying out his nuts this time.
Yeah, I'll do it.
One of the other matches that I actually I thought was pretty good was Halloween Havoc 93. It was a Texas death match. It was Cactus Jack versus Big Van Vader with Harley Race. These guys battled all over that ringside area. The fans, the stage. It was to this day, it still goes down as to one of the best matches in Halloween Havoc history. And I think not too long after this match, I think they a couple of years later, I think Mankind debuted on Raw. I think it was 95, 96. Yeah. Really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to sit back and watch this old school stuff. That match in particular, Vader, I was never really a big fan of. But I mean, you can't really say anything negative about him for the guy being that size. He was a bruiser. He was a bruiser fighter. He wasn't, again, nothing flash in the pan. For a guy his size, he can get up there and do a good moonsault off the top rope. He did the Vader bomb, the little off the second rope kind of thing like that. But, he relied on his hands more than anything to do damage. And that's all he really needed. Cactus Jack, I mean, what can you say? Legend. He's just amazing.
You guys,
all his moments.
Do you guys remember the Jericho versus Raven match?
Was it a Halloween Havoc match?
Yes.
Do you remember what year? Because I mean,
that was I believe that was 95. I believe.
Speaking of 95, like I said, I hated my match with the Zodiac.
It was actually a pretty good match. So,
but you want to know the other match I hated at 95 Halloween Havoc?
What?
Me versus Lex Luger.
The 1989, I think that was, right?
No, that was 1995. Same night I beat the Zodiac.
Luger was an all right guy, and he was one of those guys that was in really good
You
shape.
You think he is.
No, but he was one of those guys that was in real good shape who, took care of himself. So
I never trusted him.
I know he had a little bit of the needle help, but still.
Exactly.
Christian
And
I
most
never
people
trusted
that were on
98.
the stuff, a lot of people took that stuff, but he's one of the guys that actually, did things more the right way as far as diet-wise and, making his body look as good as it could. So you can't take that away from him.
Zach, your second match?
Oh, it was 98.
I've already gone through Goldberg DDP. Y'all have mentioned one other one from 97. You already mentioned how Vader Cactus was on my list. So I got to take one that it's one of the greatest matches in Halloween Havoc history, Ray Eddie from 97. No shadow of a doubt. Best cruiserweight match you will ever see in your life. The best match these two have had one-on-one ever, even better than anything they did in WWE. No disrespect to those classic matches in 2005. Mask versus title. I think Ray even did interview you can find on YouTube. Originally, he was supposed to lose this match and lose his mask. But when Eddie found out, because Ray was threatening to not even show for the pay-per-view, Eddie actually went and talked and got the match finish changed to where Ray won and kept the mask and everything. Classic back and forth match, amazing chemistry. Eddie doing as many heel things as he could do to get himself despised, even ripping a Ray's mask. Still not enough, and Ray got the win. You can watch this match, I don't know how many times in a row, and never get tired of it. Absolutely legendary bout between these two.
It's still kind of sad that Ray took his mask off in WCW, though.
Well, he
wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, I know, but it sucks that it happened, you know?
Guess who had him take it off?
You see that aura. Well, yeah. But see, with that aura and wearing the mask, like, you know, you have like, there was a reason why when Kane took off his mask, there was a reason why it became one of the biggest, you know, things ever when it came to taking off your mask.
Ray getting unmasked, he just looked like a little boy.
Yes. Well, that match was on my list. That was one of my matches. Ray and Eddie.
Let's face it, we're all going to have a bunch of matches that just overlap.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was definitely, like you said, it was definitely the best match in history for Halloween Havoc. It brings me back to what I said in my first match, is that Dean Malenko, Eddie, Chris Benoit, Rey Mysterio, these guys traveled up and down the road together, WCW, ECW, even in the early days of even when Malenko was no longer wrestling, and even when Eddie and Ray were still wrestling, and they were on the same show, they were traveling up and down. They always remained close friends all through and through. They just had that chemistry, not only that friendship, that they know that they can go out there, they can wrestle each other, and they don't have to worry about going out there and getting hurt because they were in each other's what's the word? They could trust one another. And that's also makes for great storytelling and a great match. That if you can go in the ring with someone you know and that you can trust, to make sure that not only you can protect him, but that they'll protect you. You know that you can go out there and you can push the envelope a little bit, and they'll go with it and make for a better match. And I think that match was a 5-star match through and through, and you can't talk anything bad about those guys. Just true legends right there. And it was a great match. I loved it. That's just what I got to say about that. Chase.
I dig that.
That match was, well, like I said, I've seen the match once when it came to Ray and Eddie, and I haven't watched it in so long, but I do remember certain parts of it. And you're right, it was one of the best matches in Halloween Havoc. Yeah. And I still like, I go with that one. I would go with the DDP versus Macho Man. Even though Goldberg says his best matches with DDP, it was a good match, but I don't think it was one of, like, it's close to being one of the best matches in Halloween Havoc back then. But between, like I said, Eddie versus Ray, DDP versus Macho Man, and I have to say Chris Jericho versus Raven too. Those top three, I would have to say, are probably some of the best ones I've seen when it comes to Halloween Havoc. So
I want to go back to for my third match. I would like to go back to 96. We have is for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. It's Hollywood Hogan versus Macho Man Randy Savage. Again, this was the first. This was the first under the New World Order run. I don't know. I think the Hollywood Hogan character was larger than life. I think it was. I know the NW. A lot of people are going to say the NWO is what really was the beginning of the end for WCW, even though that it was kind of its way to.
No question, it was.
I know it was a way to just.
In my case, if you can't beat them, join them. And when you join them, then screw them.
No, but things blew up. I remember when that happened, like everybody, like in friends of mine in school, like we started buying NWO t-shirts and Wolfpack shirts and wearing them to school.
They blew up. I mean, then in school, I remember wearing a DX shirt and one of my friends wearing an NWO shirt, and all we would do is just talk wrestling at lunch.
We couldn't wear DX at school, though. We couldn't wear the DX at school because apparently, like, some was like we couldn't, even though Some of them didn't even have the word "suck it" on it, but they just didn't want it at the school.
Well,
they
the
couldn't
one
wear it.
shirt, the shirt that I had.
That's because I convinced some principals to not let DX wearing, be in the schools. That way we'd have more merchandise for the NWO to be selling.
I'll be honest, I didn't. As a kid, when they said "suck it," I was like, "Whatever." I didn't know that it also meant like "suck my you know what." I was just a kid. I didn't know anything about that stuff.
I had a DX shirt that it had Triple H. It had Triple H China, X-Pac, and it had the New Age Outlaws on. It was like kind of like a collage kind of shirt, but it was one that you could buy at like Walmart or Kmart or whatever. And I had that one. And my buddy had an actual NWO T-shirt that he got from his dad that went to a WCW show. So it was so we would always talk wrestling and everything. And we always get into arguments on who was the better stable, NWO or DX. I still think to this day DX was the better stable, but that's just me.
I think we should all wear an NWO T-shirt in the next episode.
I'd have to do mine. I don't know where I put mine at.
What do you guys think? Should we do that?
I'm always thinking.
I gotta order one. I can't. I don't have one anymore. I gotta order and hopefully and pray that they have my size.
Whatever you gotta do. Double Z, work some extra hours to get yourself an NWO show.
I work
NWO
enough,
T-shirt.
motherfucker.
I don't care. We'll keep doing some more. Make a few extra dildos at the toy factory. I don't know.
So what's
Double Z? You can man, piss off. So you can be Double Z. You make a good entertainer. Quit working in a damn toy factory.
And you make a terrible sex partner.
I disagree with that. So I got a text.
I don't know. We may be onto something.
I got a text earlier. I'm not going to show it live on here, but if you say that, I mean, I'm going to prove you wrong. But I don't think I want to show it on here.
Yeah, it's probably text message saying they're the worst 30 seconds of my life.
No, once we go off air, you'll see what I'm talking about.
I still want to hear about the match he was talking about with me and the Hulkster. And just so we're clear, I heard about this past Thursday, and yes, they are. Give me the royalties.
Let's see. Spectral says it was during the Monday Night Wars. That was when wrestling was fun to talk about everywhere. I agree. Definitely. I remember going to the bus stop after the Monday morning and talking about, man,
bus?
Did you remember, like, when we were in school?
It was a bus. Who cares if it was big or short? Whatever. It's just a bus.
No, it was a regular bus.
Who cares?
I only rode the short bus a couple of times, and that was because I got kicked off the regular bus.
Well, I was just asking because if it was a big bus, then all the kids that come around, that means the more money, the better for all of us to have more fans.
I still remember as a kid, like, when there were fights in the big bus, yeah, and there's some people say, "Oh, I'll whip your fucking ass," just like goddamn Goldberg. That shit happened.
So I remember going to the bus stop the next day and talking about wrestling with buddies of mine at the bus stop. I remember going to the bus stop and be like, "Hey, did you record the pay-per-view last night? Yeah, can I borrow the tape after school? Yeah, sure, no problem." And it was just basically like clockwork. I knew to bring that tape to school with me the next day because my friends wanted to watch it, and they were dubbing tapes, and so everyone get to watch it, and it was just wrestling in the 90s was just pure fun. Now it's like Spectral said, nowadays you can't really talk about wrestling because people are like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, I haven't watched wrestling in so long. Yeah, like it's not where it was.
Certain places where you can't really talk about wrestling anymore like you used to. If wrestling was still as big as it was back then, you can go to clubs or whatever and talk about it, but now you really can't. You shouldn't, because most people don't. I'm sorry.
Why do you think me and Ricky Steamboat were more talked about in WrestleMania 3 than Hogan and Andre?
I want to say Charles put a question mark. He goes, Bullet Club is NWO ripoff.
That's what I just answered, Mr. Sarcasm.
I'm gonna say this.
Keep up with the live chat.
Did you say that?
I didn't hear him say it. But I will say this much. If it was, I'll say this. If it was for the Bullet Club to exist now, it would not be without the DX and without the NWO. For sure. Without those two stables, they wouldn't have had a Bullet Club because you got to think 2/3 of the original NWO were Click members. Then you had 6, another Click member. What did the Bullet Club use? Too Sweet. You know what I mean? So, and then the NWO Red and Black, what was their catchphrase? Too Sweet. You know what I mean? So again, like I said, if it was not for the NWO and D-Generation X, there'd be no Bullet Club. Just like if it wasn't for the Freebirds and for the Four Horsemen, there wouldn't have been a Nation of Domination. There wouldn't have been a DX, NWO, the New Day. Shit. I'll go back to the late 90s, Los Boricuas, DOA. There wouldn't have been any of those factions without the original faction, the Horsemen.
No Truth Commission.
Yeah, or the right to censor. Quote of the day. Yes, go make some more dildos at the porn factory.
Double Z works at a toy factory.
All the kids in high school were talking about NWO, Stone Cold, DX, Sable. I remember when Sable came out with the handprints on her breasts, and that was the only thing every teenage boy talked about the next morning at school.
I heard that.
Spectral, because people think they are nerds and dorks if they talk about it nowadays. I don't care. I don't care. I will be a nerd. I will put that on a shirt. I am a nerd. I love Nintendo. I love video games in general. I love watching cartoons. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love Ghostbusters. I don't care. I will put whatever I have to put on the shirt. I am a nerd, and I'm damn proud. If no one likes it, they can go fuck themselves.
He also likes the Cockbusters.
No, that's you. So yes, back to my match. Like I was saying, Hogan versus Savage. Great match. Loved it. Like I said, it was the first under the NWO storyline.
Should have won.
This kind of led into the next couple of months of WCW versus NWO, which we all know what this feud between Hogan and Macho Man led to. It turned into someone turning heel and joining the NWO. That's right. I'm looking at you. And
fuck.
Great match. It was great. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. Even though a lot of people will disagree, I still enjoyed it. I still liked it. Macho Man should have won, but I think if Macho Man would have won, it wouldn't have been we wouldn't have gotten the next couple of months of content that we got with that storyline between Hogan and Savage.
I'd like to know really like what was their relationship.
You gotta be kidding me. You know what these morons did? Those people over at the little DoorDash thing forgot to give me a straw.
Those bastards.
Those eat it like a pussy.
Now I gotta snap them like a Slim Jim. Yeah.
When was the last time any of you guys had a Slim Jim?
I had a Slim Jim last week.
I love Slim Jims. I help it get more ratings in their little commercial breaks. Yeah.
I'm Slim.
They actually have a Slim Jim that's called Slim Jim Savage. It's a version of it, and it comes in a yellow and purple wrapper, and it's like 2 Slim Jims in one Slim Jim. It's like a monster Slim Jim, but it's bigger, so it's called the Savage, and it's got a picture of Savage on it, and it's pretty cool.
Amongst other things. Yeah.
I never came across that. What the hell?
I know they sell them a lot I know Walmart. I see them all the time at Walmart, so you might have to check at like the checkout lines.
I never really look at the Slim Jims too much when I'm at the checkouts. I mean, it's been a while since I've had a Slim Jim.
You should, because dude, those things are good. Especially because it's like you buy one, it's like $2, I think, but it's friggin' it's thick.
I'll have one, but I'm not gonna do a live stream where I'm taking it because I'm already getting freaking bashed by the damn gummy worm shit.
You said it, not me now.
And when I targeted most of my content, one of the main questions I was asked was, "Oh, where's the gummy worm video? Where's the gummy worm video?" Like, what the fuck, dude? I got other stuff on the freaking channel.
Why must you feel embarrassed? Make sure you embrace embrace the trolls, and then you can feed off of it and fire back.
Come on, that
Embrace-
live stream was comedic gold. I was on fire during that one, roasting you while you were having it down your throat.
Football scouting report. I did not notice that.
I'm ordering
It's been about with the exception of last night over on JMAN's channel. Last night was the first night in like 2 weeks I watched AEW. Just because I just haven't had the time. I come home, I'm just tired, and I just lay down. I don't do anything after work.
too bad he ain't here
Fernando,
now.
what is up?
Too bad he ain't here now because I'm taking over his body now.
So
Don't
Zach,
bet against
what's your second match? I mean, your next match. I'm sorry, your third match.
I know
Oh,
what
I
my
got
number.
one
I know
more.
what my number one is.
I've got one more match, and then since I don't have a fifth one, I will replace it with my shit list just to give people a bit of entertainment in case people want me to get into rant mode again, just to give a little something extra. But the only other match that I have on my list was Savage DDP from '97, that Las Vegas sudden death match. Pretty much like it was a last man standing match, in pretty much, but with a custom name. Great back and forth action. Destroying the cell was really fun, especially seeing all those tombstones get crumbling and everything. Miss Elizabeth getting involved and like breaking freaking glass over the referee's head just to stop Savage from getting counted out. Choking DDP out with a wire. Freaking Kimberly getting involved. The freaking ref bump leading into the Diamond Cutter was great, but then Savage still got the win. Great back and forth match. Definitely, probably one of the best overall last man standing-esque matches
my number
you will
one.
ever see.
That's
The
my number
98
one.
Savage DDP. Yeah, damn it, Zach.
No,
You-
it's 90. It's
That's
97. 97.
97.
Listen,
Yeah,
I will say it 3
98, I
times.
told you in the private chat, 98 was freaking Goldberg DDP. Not
I'll
freaking
say it-
98.
I'll say it
Oh,
three-
yeah, that's right. My bad.
I'll say it 3 times.
Come on.
I will say it 3 times for you to understand. 97, 97, 97.
Mm.
And that's my number one greatest match because why? I know how to steal the show, unlike Hulkster.
Fernando, no, right now the topic is WCW Halloween Havoc.
Anyway, I'll be right back. I gotta
What
find
do you mean
myself a
about-
straw.
I mean, what about Edge? Like, are you talking about saying Edge had a match?
We'll address that later
Oh,
in the
okay.
video. Where right now is Halloween Havoc. Stop jumping the gun, brother.
Hey, you gotta understand, people got some opinions. They want to get to the good stuff. It's like Double Z. It's like he doesn't care about this. He wants to talk about vaginas.
Don't I always?
Yeah, I know. I can tell you're getting frustrated.
That was
I'm
another
always
one of my that
That's
was
like-
another one of my matches, Zach. The sudden death match between Macho and DDP. That was another one.
Like,
Of
I
mine.
think for me, there are only like 2 last man standing esque matches I probably, in at least wrestling history, that I prefer over this. That would be Triple H Randy Orton from No Mercy 2007 and Triple H versus Chris Jericho from Fully Loaded 2000. Other than that, I think this is probably like the 3rd best last man standing style
Hey,
match
Maddie.
that I've ever seen.
Strawberry preserves.
Yeah, that was a good match too. I definitely enjoyed it. That's one on my list. Great back and forth, great storytelling. You know, the constant interference from both of the girls in that match were crazy. Like you said, the ref.
DDP's ribs the whole time.
Yep. The break in the glass was crazy.
Fuck.
So Chase, what your
Wait,
next
what
match?
happened to my glasses? Wait. Oh, there they are.
Let's talk a little bit about Goldberg versus DDP.
Screw Goldberg.
I'm still a Goldberg fan, even though I don't agree with some of the stuff he's doing now. Remember, when growing up, a lot of us were hardcore Goldberg fans.
A lot of them were hardcore Macho Man fans too.
You can't deny, though, you see a big guy who could do all this powerful stuff and everything. Kids love that. Like, we like seeing the larger-than-life guys destroy people.
But I had more charisma than Bill.
Yeah, I know, and apparently you got the Slim Jim thing going on.
You better
Charles-
believe it. At least I
Charles,
got
I
more
have-
money off of that than Goldberg ever did.
Charles, I have a
Look how much he's getting
question.
paid
You
now.
said Kimberly or Liz. Can you put that into more perspective? Are you asking who would we choose, Kimberly or Liz?
It's easy for me. It's
Oh.
Liz.
That's a tough one.
Well, I know
tough about-
Kimberly did. I know Kimberly had a couple of had like a porn tape, if I'm not mistaken, like in the early 2000s. I think.
Really?
Wait, for real?
I think so because there was. I
Where?
see there was
I
a
better not look it
lot.
up on stream. I'm gonna get too freaking excited. I'm not gonna.
No,
then
there's
again,
a
I'm
lot
gonna
of,
stay sitting down the rest of the time.
Watch, Double Z's gonna turn off his camera. He's
I
gonna
know there was
himself for 30
I know I
minutes.
saw pictures of her posing nude.
You got this guy.
So-
started.
Oh, who's hotter? Who's hotter? Oh shit!
It's obvious it's Liz. And the only reason you jumped the gun is because he mentioned something about Kimberly Page being in porn.
No,
Because of Charles right here, I know what Double Z's gonna do after the show.
who's hotter?
Again, this is a tough one.
It's a tough one, but you know what? I'm gonna go with this because I'm gonna go with this choice, and it's if you look through the history of WWF or just of wrestling, there was not especially in the early 90s, there was not a lot of women in the WWE. Even in WCW, there was not a lot of women, with the exception of you had Fabulous Moolah, you had Mae Young, you had the old school. But I want to say right around the 90s, you started to see the women more with the, the nice clothing, a little, the sexy revealing clothing and stuff like that. Yeah, Sensational Sherry, you had Miss Elizabeth. But I know when they inducted Miss Elizabeth, I believe they inducted her into the WWE Hall of Fame. They set
she's
her.
not in.
She's not in?
No.
They inducted Sensational Sherry, but sadly she passed away shortly after that, and they don't know exactly
Oh yeah.
why.
So I know maybe it wasn't an induction. Maybe it was like a I can't remember where I remember seeing it, but they mentioned Miss Elizabeth, and they said in the thing is that she was the original diva.
A tribute video, I suppose. Or...
I probably a tribute video that they said that she was the first original diva. Outside of all the women who have ever wrestled, she was the first she was the first diva. She always came out with gorgeous makeup, amazing dresses. The stuff she came out with was always great, especially in the early 90s when she would come out. She was walking Macho Man to the ring. They always made sure that they colored matched and everything like that. So I'm going to go with Miss Elizabeth because just because the fact that, to me personally, there would be no women in wrestling if it hadn't have been for Miss Elizabeth, Sensational Sherry, especially valets at that, because I know they took a break from women wrestling for a while, and the women were utilized more as valets in the early days of WWF. So I Miss Elizabeth hands down, even though that Kimberly could kick ass, but Miss Elizabeth is definitely hotter.
You got Double Z curious about this tape that happened in the early 2000s.
Well, I just remember two things. First, involving Miss Elizabeth, I just remembered that she was a rare instance where you saw a babyface manager with a heel, and people still cheered the babyface manager, because you don't see that combination a whole lot throughout wrestling history.
Yeah.
Usually it's either babyface with face or heel with heel. And people still fell for Miss Elizabeth no matter what, because they had Savage doing an excellent job being a heel and mistreating her to the point where everybody felt sympathy. One thing I remember now about Kimberly Page, I want to ask you guys, how many of you have seen the full movie of The 40-Year-Old Virgin?
I've seen
I
it.
still
She's
have never
actually
watched it in my
She's actually
life.
one of the girls at the speed dating.
Yep, she is the one whose breast pops out
Yeah,
of her
with
top.
the nipple pops out. Yeah.
Yep, this boom. You can, as soon as you see that, you can never unsee it, because it just flops right out. It's like, okay, I have no clue what she's saying, but I don't give a fuck.
Wait, who was that?
Kimberly Page. She's in the
Kimberly
movie The
Page.
40-Year-Old Virgin.
She was in a
No,
40-year-old virgin.
I still have never watched that movie in my life. I have
What?
never
Like,
watched
she's in the scene where Steve Carell, his character is going through a speed dating part, and she's one of the girls in there, because she's trying to say that she's a girl from a small town. And while she's talking, her freaking top comes a little bit undone, and one of her breasts just pops right out.
I don't know.
And
I
of course,
just, for
I've
some-
seen that movie to death, so of course I have that scene memorized.
That movie was great. It was absolutely funny. So with that, well, I'm gonna say because Zach mentioned some of my favorite matches from WCW. So, I'm gonna add one more to my list, and that's the Goldberg versus Diamond Dallas Page. I was one of the ones that ordered the pay-per-view, and it went dark about, I think, what was it like 10 minutes into the match? It went dark.
Somewhere around there, and then that's when they re-aired the match the next night on Nitro.
Yeah. So I
wanna
never
know why
got to
it
see
went
the
dark?
match. I never got.
You want to know why? Well, it's because I pulled the plug in the production truck. They didn't have me on the card.
For those that
NWO.
don't know, back in the day, pay-per-views had a deadline, and you weren't able to go past that deadline. And if you did, the cable providers could actually go and cut the feed to the event.
Especially
that's
your
what
comments
happened.
got me laughing.
But Spectral Double Z once said something about wanting people to Photoshop Dick Cheese face on the cover of the 40-year-old version.
I had somebody on Twitter actually doing that before.
Well, that person claimed he got laid like a few weeks
Hey
ago.
Amanda, what's up?
Though there was not a proof, but he just said it was, so we'll assume he's not lying.
So yeah, I got to actually physically see the match for the first time a few years back on the I think it was the the rise and fall of WCW, I think it was.
Yep.
They had that DVD on there. So that match on there, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was some WCW DVD that I had. It was a 3-disc set, and I got to finally see that match.
You want to
Um,
know why
I'll go
WCW
quickly
fell?
grab the DVD a second and see if it's on there.
Did you
Yeah.
guys ever read the book as well?
No.
You know why WCW had its fall? It's because after I left, everything went crazy.
That book with WCW and everything, you look at the front of it, it looks like Eric Bischoff's like a total junkie. Like he looks messed up
Yeah.
when you look at it. I don't know
Chase, do you have any other matches that you want to talk about in WCW Halloween Havoc?
I already talked about the main ones, and so not on my part.
All right. I'll wait for Zach to get back, and then we'll move on to the...
I only have this list of how many matches I had, which I rank from worst to best. Like I just said, the like worst, it was actually, me and the Zodiac. And then there was me and Luger on the same night. But then the very best in the category would be me and Hogan. But I think my favorite match would have to be me versus Diamond Dallas Page.
No, but DDP, he was always like, I would definitely want to work with him for sure, because he can
Why
do.
do you think I chose him for him to give me the diamond cutter?
The DVD
Diamond
must
cut
be
your
in my basement
balls.
because I can't find it on the bookshelf.
Oh, you're good. He
So,
broke 6,000 guitars and never drew a diamond, but his little Tennessee brain, he thought he was the man that was better than Hogan.
Zach, do you have any other matches from WCW Halloween Havoc that you want to touch on?
Well, I have my shit list in terms of like a quick rapid fire rant, but I don't have any other good matches.
All right. Let me make a...
Should we add the shit list?
Just so we're clear, yeah, he broke 6,000 guitars, but I was supposed to take the NWA World Heavyweight Championship from him if I hadn't had health issues and in my original body.
Oh yeah, that TNA run.
One of my regrets because I used my original old body.
Alrighty, so before we hear from Macho Man on his best to worst matches, we are
I just
going...
gave it.
Oh,
It's
you did?
Macho J-Man.
Macho J, man. We're gonna go with Double Z's Halloween Havoc shit list.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got 5 of the absolute worst WCW Halloween Havoc matches You should just flat out avoid unless you want to freaking drink. Otherwise, you see these matches, you are going to drink yourself to death just to forget these matches ever happened. First of all, obviously, Hogan Warrior 98. Good Lord. Obviously, they brought back Warrior brought him into WCW just for Hogan to get his win back. This match was the direct opposite of the WrestleMania 6 Classic match. Nothing went right. Match was slower as hell. I mean, I've had freaking shits while I'm constipated go out faster than this damn match. They freaking blown up Fireball in Hogan's face, screwed up, and burned off some of his freaking facial hair. I mean, couldn't burn off any hair on his head because there was nothing really left at that point anyway. Singed off his eyebrows. They had to do a freaking impromptu chair shot to the back. It's like, that was it. One of the worst matches you'll ever see. Second one, Hogan Piper from 97, the freaking Age in the Cage match. You had a far better freaking cage match in WCW and WWE with the first ever Hell in a Cell match. This match, it felt like freaking you were watching the freaking Mr. Herbert versus the Nazi from freaking Family Guy match on freaking Family Guy in the ring inside of a cage because it was that slow, that old, that freaking boring. The best thing you could remember was when Savage up there freaking jumped off the top of the cage. He freaking botched the freaking dive, almost blew out his knees. That was the only good thing you remember from the match was that big dive. The match overall freaking was one of the biggest hot pieces of garbage you'll ever see in terms of a cage match. Then third one, Chamber Horrors 91. Good Lord. I hate this gimmick. They just took the main premise of the main freaking Thunderdome cage or whatever it was. I think it was like from like, what, 89? They added these gimmicks like with props and everything. You had the freaking electric chair in the middle where you got to win to put your opponent in there and flip the switch, which was constantly accidentally going down on its own into the on position. And then referees had to keep freaking holding it up because they kept screwing up. They just fried Abdullah, hepatitis C butcher, like, and of course he wasn't blading himself while in the chair, which was a bit of a surprise. Match 4, Hogan Giant from 95. You remember how bad the Sumo Monster Truck like stipulation was? Freaking Giant falls off the top of Cobalt Hall, and somehow he's miraculously fine enough, like he freaking respawned in GTA Online where he's 100% perfect health, back in the ring without scratch, and then out comes the Yeti. So Hogan was getting dry humped on freaking from the front and from behind. So, ladies and gentlemen, we had a freaking Mummy and Giant freaking humping Hogan like so porno and WCW
Better him than
style.
me.
Horrifying there. And then, of course, the fifth one, Rick Rude versus Masahiro Chono from 92. Over 22 minutes of this match. I believe Chono was still dealing with a neck injury because he got his neck busted up in freaking Japan because of Steve Austin by accident. Match was slow, boring, horrible, and they did that horrible, stupid freaking stipulation where if you throw somebody over the top rope, it's a DQ, and that's how they ended this freaking match. Holy crap. I'd rather freaking listen to a long-ass Triple H promo during the Authority days rather than rewatching this match, because that friggin' promo would take less time than this friggin' match just to sit through in one sitting.
I'd rather listen to an Ultimate Warrior, talking incoherently promo than having to deal with that.
Do you guys remember the Ultimate Warriors promo after Halloween Havoc?
For Halloween Havoc, you should never see, unless you want to drink yourself to death to the point where you never remember those 5 matches ever again.
I almost drank myself to death in TNA, so I don't blame you.
No, but do you guys remember what Ultimate Warrior after Halloween Havoc, that promo he did on Nitro?
Yeah, that was the last thing he did in WCW. Then he was gone.
Yep.
I still never fully understood the whole thing where like Hogan sees him through the other side of the mirror or whatever the freaking. It's like we all see it.
The person that was able to see him, or well, Bischoff couldn't see him. The fans could see him, but Hogan could, but Bischoff couldn't the whole time.
It's like we all see it too. It's like a blind Stevie Wonder could fucking see him. What the fuck? But damn, man. I don't know.
Hey, wait a minute. This Fernando guy, he said he mentioned Edge because he turns 48 years old today. So he recommended to have a discussion about him on this
We'll get to him. And gotta give the viewers what they want, okay?
Gotta give them what they want. I'm talking.
Do the truffle shuffle, Elite. Do the truffle shuffle.
I ain't truffling shit.
Give us what we want in a minute.
I'm not giving anything.
Got to make the viewers happy.
Alrighty. So, So everyone have anything else they want to add about Halloween Havoc as far as WCW before we move on to WWE's NXT Halloween Havoc?
One thing I will add on to this is, and this is really, simple. Hogan, I still resent you for not letting me have that belt. Even the times when you let me have it for only 24 hours every time after a pay-per-view, but that one time you didn't want to pay me back after what we pulled at WrestleMania 5. Now I don't have any regrets giving you that black eye before WrestleMania 9. But as for the other matches, sure, I won. The other two, I don't like. But one of them, I loved. DDP, you really know how to help me make my dad proud. No more questions.
Oh, but with Randy Savage, like I said, he was a cool guy and everything.
I still am.
I do know that a lot of us, when they said Hogan was going to be the one to induct Randy, a lot of us were like, what the fuck, dude? And I don't really believe. I mean, who was it? Randy's brother that said, "Oh, apparently they made peace."
No, I think Hogan said that himself.
But I wasn't sure because I believe somebody said that Randy's brother said apparently was there to testify or some shit. But I don't believe that. I just think it's like WWE offered, Randy's brother a ton of money and then just, I know with what's his name, Bruno Sammartino, Hall of Fame inductees, you usually get paid like around $5,000 or so. But I know with people like Bruno, they had to have paid him more than that.
You know what? I can't deny that. Yeah, Steamboat should have inducted me. You know why? Because we stole the show at WrestleMania 3, unlike Hogan and Andre.
So, but that was pretty dumb. But either way, karma exists, and now Hogan's paying the price, and people still boo his ass. You can have what's his name? The one I can't remember his name. The one that was with him at WrestleMania.
Titus O'Neil.
Yeah, I mean, I still think of him as the guy that fucking ran and slid under the ring and tripped. It's like his greatest moment.
Titus O'Neil for getting a school named after him recently.
We gotta put that clip in part as like part of the commercial with Titus O'Neil slipping into the ring. We can do that. We can do that. But yeah, I mean, karma is a real thing, and Hogan's paying the price as of late, or he's been paying the price for a long time.
I had something on the tip of my tongue, and now I can't remember.
The Mario hat's fucking you up, dude.
I can't remember. Was it something I saw?
Too bad I can remember all my matches, but you can't.
Oh, so Charles said that Steamboat should have inducted Macho Man.
I agree.
The only reason that Poffo, the genius Lanny Poffo, inducted Macho Man was because Macho Man didn't want to be a part of the Hall of Fame unless him and his brother were both being inducted at the same time. So I think that Triple H reached out because Triple H did a lot of mending bridges as far as wrestlers coming back to the company. I know that they pulled a lot of freaking teeth to get Bruno to come back just for the Hall of Fame induction. And he mended that bridge between Vince and Bruno for that to happen. And I think that's exactly what happened with the Macho Man situation, that there was a lot of bad blood somewhere along the line between Vince and Macho Man. And I think Triple H was kind of like the silver lining in the silver lining in the cloud, so to speak.
And I know they paid him a lot more money than they paid the other inductees.
So I think that's why we got Lanny Poffo. But the thing is, I honestly think Lanny did a great job inducting his brother, because we got a couple of stories, and then it was kind of like almost like a gospel kind of, and that's what I enjoyed the induction. So I think that's the only reason why we didn't get anyone else inducting Macho Man. If Macho Man was still alive, we probably would have gotten Steamboat for sure.
I'm here now.
Did people boo or cheer for Hogan when he did the induction?
The induction for
me.
Randy Savage.
They probably cheered because this was before his N-word controversy.
I didn't watch it because like I knew it was gonna be shit. That's the thing.
Did Hogan induct Macho Man?
Well, there's a thing called
Yeah.
a smartphone. I'll check.
Yeah.
Well, my smartphone is on the other
If
side.
it was Hogan anytime before 2015 when his stuff came
He
out
did.
about him dropping
Look
the
it
N-word, he
up.
would have
Just
got
look it
cheered.
up. Look it up. I never watched that ceremony right there because I was like, dude, why are you letting fucking Hogan in there?
Hey, I could tell you right now, it can't do any worse than freaking Mr. T.
Yep, I was inducted by Hogan.
Well,
Hey,
yeah, Hogan inducted him, but Lanny accepted the induction on his
They just let Sylvester Stallone induct Mr. T, you know, but they had Hogan do it.
That Mr. T induction put me to sleep.
There's,
my mother.
I love my mother. You should love your mother. If you don't, then I will love your mother.
You know, there's only like, I don't know, 3 people I would have loved to have me inducted into the Hall of Fame. It was Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair, or Diamond Dallas Page.
I'm still waiting. I'm hoping WWE would actually induct China just by herself, not as the fucking DX thing.
I think honestly, we should be happy that she was inducted at all.
Yeah, but like I said, China. I mean, just her as herself. I mean, give her a spot for herself.
She actually cost me my match the other day. You know, like when I was in the afterlife.
You know.
So you guys want to talk about NXT's Halloween Havoc?
Go for it.
Better than the one I had in '95.
I gotta admit though, with this new one, it kind of felt like you're in a circus with it. I mean, with all the ladders and stuff, and the way everybody's moving around or jumping and shit, or landing on the ropes. And
so I'm gonna just run
back.
down the match card, give out the results. So it's in no particular order, but we had Toxic Attraction defeated Shirai and Stark for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships in a triple threat match. I did see the highlights for this match. There was one spot in the match where Zoe Stark went up to the top rope to do a Phoenix Splash, and she came down and landed on her feet and then fell on top of the ladder and on top of the woman that was on it. I thought that was ridiculous. I thought it was like that was such a bad spot. And then there was another spot where the girl went diving through the ropes, and she literally looked like she fell head first on the floor. It was another botch there. You had Joe Gacy defeated Blade. You had Roderick Strong defeated Odyssey Jones. Mandy defeated Raquel Gonzalez to win the NXT Women's Championship in a Chucky's Choice Trick or Street Fight match. My boys Imperium defeated MSK for the NXT Championships, Tag Championships in a Lumberjack O-Lantern match. And then Ciampa retained over Braun Baker for the NXT Championship. From the highlights that I saw, I thought the show was very good. But again, I saw just like I think I saw like a 15-minute video of just all the highlights. But I'll be honest, I haven't watched an NXT since the relaunch. Just haven't been able to sit down to watch it. But from what I've been told and what I saw, it looked like it was a solid show. A lot of people said it was really good, damn good at that. So those were the results. I don't know too much about Braun Baker. I know that he's Rick Steiner's son. I know that they do make some references to that on the show from what I was hearing during the one match. So, but Toxic Attraction, I'm surprised that they gave them the title so quickly as far as, them just forming together as a stable. But I think that's what they needed for NXT when Undisputed Era was around. I think they needed someone to run the women's division. But I don't know. It was a good show from what I could see. Ow.
I think somebody I saw, it was either Facebook or Twitter, that mentioned that when Mandy Rhodes won the championship, she's technically the only female to ever participated in Tough Enough to ever win a championship in WWE.
Who was that?
Mandy Rose.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like none of the other females that are ever part of Tough Enough ever won a championship in WWE.
Hey, J-Man. Suck on that, you bitch-ass tramp. Bigger than yours, bitch.
Now you're gonna get it. You messing with the Macho J-Man, Jordy Savage.
What did you order, though?
I'm
What
gonna
did you
get you.
order?
Yeah.
What did you order?
None of your business.
Charles, Mandy can't have some of my candy, but I would like to have some of her candy. You know what I mean?
A little more than you can chew, man.
Hey, I could chew long, and I can chew very long.
Apparently, you chew too much.
I can even hear it.
Now, I just want to know what you ordered, man. What did you order?
I got myself some 20-piece chicken nuggets.
Hey,
large
what's up,
fries,
Chris?
and a milkshake. What'd you get?
Ordered 4 of the apple pie things, or pumpkin apple pie, whatever you call it. Wait, this one, I ordered 4 of the whatever. 4 of those, 5 triple cheeseburgers, Coke, no ice, and that's all for now.
Did you just say 5 cheeseburgers?
5 triple cheeseburgers. Yeah, why? No pickles.
Could you order like less food?
How about no? No.
You know,
If I ate that much, if I ate that much McDonald's, I'd be in the bathroom.
I'll probably be in the bathroom later on. I got 3 bathrooms here, so I'm good.
Tommaso Ciampa, aka Tomato Sauce, is just right back if he grew a beard and had all the muscle and charisma sucked out of him. Who remembers the McDonald Land cookies? I don't remember those.
Those little cookies that they sell at McDonald's? They still sell cookies.
Who remembers the little McDonald? Who remembers the little the McDonald's toys that would look like food, and then you would transform them, and they look into and they would be like little creatures. Anyone remember those?
Beast Wars?
No, they were like you would have it would look like a little thing of French fries, and then you would flip the top up, and it would look like a person with like 2 little eyes.
Oh. No, I don't remember those. No.
Those were the old days, man. I remember those. Those were back in the day. Now, I mean, you get some good toys here and there in the Happy Meals, but kids will never know.
But the favorite times of when for me, when it comes to McDonald's and toys, the most ones I was happy with was either the Lion King or the Hercules. I definitely got a story when it comes to the Hercules thing. I'll tell that another time. Or Pokemon, especially when Pokemon movie came out, and then also the Yu-Gi-Oh thing too. So. That was the most times I was most excited for wanting to get Happy Meals there when those came out. Even when TSWP had Pokemon.
Anyone want to talk? Anyone want to add in their thoughts of Halloween Havoc? NXT's Halloween Havoc?
I want to, like I said, the Braun Strowman, I would like to bring that up.
You mean Braun Breaker?
Well, Braun Breaker, god damn it. I'm actually happy that they didn't put the title on him yet, because he's not ready.
It's coming though. I say by the next big NXT pay-per-view, which will probably be, I don't know if they're doing anything for. They might do War Games. I'm assuming they'll do War Games this year. So who knows? Maybe War Games.
Want them to rush things. I don't want them to rush Braun Breaker. I don't want them to. If they do make him world champion, will he only be still called Braun Breaker, or will he actually have his Steiner last name, which he should have? I don't think
they're gonna let him rock with the Steiner name. That's just like the same reason why they didn't let Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt use their real names.
And during the match, a lot of people were cheering for him. They were really going for Braun. They were, but I feel like they're just trying to rush him a little. If they did put the title on him, I think that would be a big mistake. A couple of suplexes or shoulder tackles, that's, just.
Zach, are you playing WWE Supercard?
No, he's looking up Kimberly's thing. He's looking up Kimberly's video.
He's playing WWE.
Supercard. I don't even play Supercard all that much anymore.
I eat like a pig, so I'm turning my camera off.
It's WWE Champions. I'm doing far better than that.
I haven't played that in so long. I tried the AEW Elite Manager, and that shit was boring.
Like WWE Champions is an easy one to get through. Like my team, like my combined roster's got like a combined like talent total of over 400,000 like points so far.
Well, the reason why they do it, Charles, because they're not going to use it for the main roster. I mean, they'll never be a WWE Halloween Havoc, because they have too many pay-per-views as it is. But I think the reason why they utilize a lot of the WCW names for the NXT stuff is because they don't want other companies to use it, but they own the rights to all those names. So I don't understand why they even care at that point. But
it's just weird that they're using WCW original names, even though they've spent so many years just constantly burying WCW since the buyout.
Yeah. And you know what? Spectral, I don't understand why that is. I don't understand why they won't allow Breaker to use his last name. I don't know if are there bad grapes?
Isn't it obvious?
It's probably because of the bad blood with Scott Steiner.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, Scotty, he has issues with man,
like
put
Scott
it
Steiner,
down.
Ever since Scott left WWE in 2004 when he got released, he's never had anything positive to say about WWE, Triple H, or even Stephanie. So, of course, there's a lot of bad blood involving that.
Exactly.
I mean, he went there in the later years of his career. I mean, what did he expect?
Look what happened.
I mean, he was a joke. I mean, let's just put it this way. Scott Steiner is no longer what he was when he was tagging with his brother, with the Steiner brothers. Once he started really pumping up, and he got to the point where he can't do a clothesline without looking like a piece of wood. That's when his career was just done. He should have just hung up, because I can only imagine what he's gonna look like when he reaches like 60 years old.
Well,
that's another
we at least still
problem.
got to at least give credit to TNA because they kind of helped give him a bit of a revamping. And I'm not talking about just like with that Steiner Math promo or the promos that he cut on.
He came back with that shit.
That gave him a new breath of life of sorts when he went over there. It's like, yeah, his WWE run from 2002 to 2004 was an absolute fucking joke, especially when you look at the matches with Triple H and he's still dealing with drop foot syndrome, those terrible matches and that horrible stuff going on with
if he was in better shape, and if he didn't have any of those injuries, he'd have a great match with anybody.
That too, but it's like when he finally went to TNA afterwards, that was like a new breath of fresh air for him because like he had different people to work with. It seemed like things were a bit more in control, like less botching and everything. So it's like the WWE stuff, I think his WWE stuff also probably had to do to be the fact that he wasn't in the ring as often because that was during the period when he still had that Time Warner contract still expiring. He had some stuff I know outside of WWE and everything before then, but it's like I think it was also maybe some ring rust because like he hadn't been in the ring all that often since WCW was gone. So I think that could be like also a bit of a factor too.
But you remember, like when Steiner came back, he was about 40 years old, and then when we noticed that gap in his chest, like his chest was totally different,
The thing is, if I were to return to the WWE back in 2002, 2003, I'm not going to lie, they would have given me the same treatment they gave Scott.
I think like maybe they put Steiner probably would have been better being in SmackDown than Raw. You went to Raw, you would get screwed by Triple H. You'd be buried by Triple H.
You know what? If I did return, I would have went to SmackDown. Believe it or not. Besides, Blue's always been my favorite color.
You're safer with SmackDown. Don't be on the same roster as Triple H.
Fun deal.
Let's think about it. It would have been better. We could have had a better Goldberg-Lesnar match if Goldberg was on SmackDown.
So does anyone have anything they want to add about Halloween Havoc before we let J-Man talk about his topic?
I will answer the Spectral in the chat real quick about I have not heard them refer to Rick or Scott. Not even at least Rick is so far in any of Braun Breaker's matches that I've seen. I have not their names are not brought up at all. So
all right.
You can at least bring up Rick because that is Rick's son.
I mean, at least Rick Steiner, is more calmer and cooler than Big Papa Chump.
I really wish I could have went to Scott Steiner's restaurant before he shut it down. once.
Well, but either way, I got myself some opponents that I wished I had faced back in WCW at the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view instead of the ones that I did face. Now, one of them I'm not going to change about 97 with me and DDP. But there were a few wrestlers that I should have faced, at Halloween Havoc. You ready for them?
Go ahead.
Well, one of them, I'm going to have to say Eddie Guerrero on that one. Because believe it or not, I think me and him could have stolen the show at one time. I mean, think about it. Me and him in Halloween Havoc, we'd be the talk of the event. No questions asked. Then there's another one. I know I faced him before multiple times, but at the end of the day, we never faced each other at that certain event, Halloween Havoc. Me and the Stinger.
I got a question for you, Macho Man.
Shoot.
How'd you feel about your match with Scott Steiner for the U.S. title?
It sucked.
Did you like Scott Steiner's promo at least before the match?
Hey, I thought I was already napping before I, went to the ring and saw that promo.
Show you who's the real Macho Man.
Hey, there will be no one ever finer than me. And so we can take that to the bank and shove it.
I will add this though. I mean, if you were thinking about the when Macho Man did the Spider-Man movie, the Bonesaw McGraw thing, you think it would be cool to have someone
is ready.
No, but do you think it'd be cool to have a couple of jobbers come in and get destroyed like that? Just have some prior entertainment before the other matches.
Could have been a good idea.
People chanting "kill, kill, kill," and just bring some lightweights out and have someone kind of like the Bonesaw McGraw gimmick and just destroying them. Think about it. It'd be cool to see some people get killed.
Speaking of Steiner, I wish I had faced him at Halloween Havoc as well. And this is before he, whether it be before or after he switched to being, who he is today. But I think that would have been good. And if he were to be more cooperative and started thinking with his head and not with his other head downstairs. But
not
yeah,
that there's anything wrong with that.
You would know a lot about that, wouldn't you?
Fuck yeah.
That head that WZ has, that tells him when to go to bed, when to snort the coke, when to freaking do this, do that.
It's the one that keeps me up.
You think it's an appendage in his hand, but it's something else.
Now, here's also another man I should have faced, too, at Halloween Havoc. I faced him multiple times, like I said, but I think this one would have been good for the card. Me and the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. I mean, there's no question about it. Me and Flair can really put on a show. And at Halloween Havoc, it wouldn't have been spooktacular, but it would bring a lot of stars. Hey, Dave Meltzer, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Spectral says WWE just pretending Rick and Scott Steiner never existed. For sure, facts.
Yeah, because when was the last time they even made a reference to Scott Steiner anyway on WWE television?
Since he left.
Exactly. It's been over 15 years.
They kind of also did the same thing with Brock Lesnar after he left WWE in 2004. And the only time I can remember them mentioning his name on TV was when Big Show did that promo talking about how he won the WWE title from Brock Lesnar, but that was about it. That was one time out of 7 years. I didn't really mention Lesnar again.
Even with Steiner, I don't think we've ever even seen him in a video package since he left.
Nope.
Not even for anybody else.
Well,
wasn't he in crap.
I got another name. And, I wish this one were to, me and him were head toe to toe in the ring at Halloween Havoc as well. I mean, I have a few short memories of facing him, but then again, that's just me. Goldberg. I mean, I could have helped him, make a good match look good. If I had to carry the whole match from start to finish, yeah, even to make him look good, I don't care. Not just because I love getting paid, but it would also to be helping him be developed more. I would have been a lot better than Diamond Dallas Page being in the ring with him. Dig that. Then there's another name. One that I knew he was having his problems, but then again, I had my own problems. another one by the name of Scott Hall, or who used to call me the Nacho Man. You know.
Macho
But
Man
still.
and Goldberg in a tag match would be nice.
Good point. That's what video games are for nowadays. You get to have
I
them.
don't really do the
fans.
wrestling video games that much. I really don't.
I got a
know
couple.
Double Z
couple
does.
more.
Go ahead.
I got a couple more names, but go ahead. What else does Double Z do?
Well, I know he's going to do after the show. It involves typing Kimberly sex tape 2000 something.
Ah.
I'm already done.
Oh, he already did. No wonder why you got your camera off. Damn, you're fast.
Another name I wish I would have faced the Halloween Havoc again, and I'm at 7 names right now. This is the 7th name. Chris Benoit. Now
You know
that
they
one.
mention his name on the damn thing.
Yeah, well, guess what? I can say that.
Let's say if Chris Benoit had the best Halloween Havoc match ever, like what are the chances that WWE is going to be able to put that in there?
None.
Beats me.
And
Another
they-
match.
They can't really make a top 10 Halloween Havoc matches if they know Chris Benoit's matches with the best.
Another one I'd like to have faced off with Rey Mysterio. I don't care if it was the Mysterio name or just Mysterio Jr. We could have pulled off something too.
For sure.
A lot better than Nash would ever do with him.
Nash, God, why did they make his WWE title run so long? Like, what? Like, it wasn't all. Well, I guess it was during a time when wrestling was not doing good, so.
Well, I was better at Nash being world champion. In fact, I was a better world champion than anybody, like when it came down to my time.
Vince just looked at how his reaction was during '94 and just saw him and his look as being big money.
But either way, I'm at my 9th name. I'm trying to think about it. Just always thinking. Oh boy, this one's a tough one.
I'm kind of mad, like, with the Halloween Havoc. You guys saw that segment with Chucky?
Oh,
What?
and Rick Steiner.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how Chucky comes back at this Halloween Havoc too, from what I heard.
He's in the locker room this time, and, you got Braun there.
Wait a minute. That's an indirect reference to Rick Steiner. So
Yes.
They did mention him without even saying it. Sneaky bastards.
They won't even mention it like it happened with his dad, but what the fuck? Like, why is that? Why the hell? Because anyone who's been a fan for wrestling for a long time, and you're not even going to mention that, Braun's father went through something similar with Chucky. But Chucky was the bomb. Chucky was so popular back then, and now they're trying to make him look like shit.
You know what? Now that I
they're
think about it,
burying him.
I hate that, dude. I fucking hate it.
now that I think about it, I actually think I could have performed better than Hogan. Me and Warrior, because I should have been the one to face him, not Hogan.
I really thought Scott Steiner was going to be in the Chucky movie when I was younger.
Not happening. Not even this lifetime. But like I said, me and Ultimate Warrior, or Warrior, whatever you call him, me and him could have done a lot better in Halloween Havoc than him and Hogan.
Can you really trust Warrior? Come on.
I don't trust Warrior, but I do trust myself.
But can you really have a great match with him and the way he was back in '97 and all that?
Hey, I had a better match with him at WrestleMania 7 in 1991.
But
Why
that was earlier than then, but I'm talking about now when he had that terrible Halloween Havoc match, the damn promo afterwards, then gone. I mean,
Just my opinion, man.
I just don't think it would have worked. I mean, I don't think he was the same Warrior when he came back.
I would have made sure he worked. Trust me, I have my ways.
Take him to the closet and teach him a lesson.
Well, you're right. Look at what happened to Hogan before WrestleMania 9. And you know what? And now the 10th name that I wish I faced at Halloween Havoc, and this might be a lot to, to digest. But then again, this would have been a great one. Me versus the Hitman, Bret Hart.
I said before, like I'm wondering, like, were Macho Man and Hogan really cool when they got back together in WCW, or were just Macho Man just wanting a job there in WCW?
Listen. when I was in WCW, I may have not liked Hogan, but I respect him. However, there were things I did not like about his business practices. Let's get that straight.
But Hogan is one of the biggest liars ever and one of the biggest
True,
manipulators.
he is. True, he is.
Like, there's a lot of lies that Hogan has done and been caught for. Like, you remember that guy from Animal House? That one character? Can't remember his name.
But either way, what do you guys think of my list of people I could have faced at Halloween Havoc but didn't?
I want to watch more of like Randy's match. We'll watch
Pretty
more.
good.
I hate it simply because you didn't put the Renegade on there.
well, hey, Warrior, Renegade, what's the difference?
Well, one was a knockoff, one wasn't.
Exactly. I'd rather deal with the original and the real one instead of a fake.
Come on, you could have made the Renegade a star.
I could have made him a star, but then again, what would have it amount to it? I mean, look at Jim. He would have been mad.
Think about
Besides-
it. You could have saved the Renegade's life. You could have made him a star. When he left WCW, he could have gotten a chance to be in other companies instead of having happened what did happen to him.
No, but the special in the chat, when did Randy say that, calling Bret Hart totally overpaid and totally unproven? When did he say that? That's kind of new to me.
Well, that's because he was overrated. I mean, look at Bischoff. He spent too much money on Bret. I mean, they just brought him in out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden, he's barely booked, he's barely promoted, and on top of it all off, he's barely on some pay-per-views.
I don't recall Randy saying that, but if it's true, I mean, I would like to see it. But also, after all these years, I look at Bret Hart, he's just a big crybaby.
That's true.
Bret the Bitter Man Hart.
I don't know. I'm just tired of his shit.
Or more like Bret the Snake Bit Man Hart.
Fucking damn it, they know Bret. Crybaby.
But that's all I got for my top 10 of men I should have faced at Halloween Havoc but couldn't.
Yeah, I feel you. What's the next match you want to do for recent pay-per-view?
What was that?
The next match?
What do you mean the next match?
Or whatever the next topic is on the podcast.
No, we're talking about the recent Halloween
Havoc.
Havoc that we had for
Oh yeah, my bad.
Where's your mind at, dude?
I was just listening to you guys talk, and I was just like spaced out for a second.
You doze off, goddamn.
So I think for the next topic, I know this is gonna fall under the. Well, actually, no. Let's talk about Edge. He did turn 48 today. So happy birthday to the rated R superstar Edge. I'm curious as to when they're going to give him the title.
But
I really am.
You think they will give him the title?
It's just like with TNA on the 12th of never for me.
It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when.
They're already really struggling to make new stars for the future.
The thing is,
I
like,
would mean new stars.
No, but for real though, J-Man. Like I said, who would you really see, like, carrying the company for at least 10 more years? Help be able to bring in the buys, like, for the sales.
well, so far, Roman's doing a hell of a job. But you need more people around him. You can't just, have him just be the face of the company and expect the company to succeed. They need more people. You need more people on Raw and right now it's just, I don't know. It's like the rosters are diminished.
Yeah.
They let all those friggin' people go, and now they don't have anybody on the main rosters with the exception of who you see on TV every week.
Does anyone know why Roman Reigns wasn't on SmackDown?
No, he was there.
Was he on the show?
Yeah, he was there. He was in a dark match.
Okay, because I'm talking about as far as people wanted to see him like on TV, but they didn't. So I know they apparently had a match in a dark match, but no television for
I
him.
thought he was dressed as Shotzi Blackheart as part of an early Halloween costume.
Oh God.
As far as I'm concerned, if they're gonna create new stars, they gotta pick the right guy at the right place at the right time, who's like over with the fans, who has a lot of charisma and has a lot of in-ring skill and some mic skills.
Right, but you don't really have anybody under that description.
Actually, you do. You got me.
But also, as
You're
far
retired.
as pay-per-view,
I can still go.
There's all these pay-per-views, not just from WWE, or NXT. There's also the AEW. You got this pay-per-view, that pay-per-view. You guys really watching all these pay-per-views that are going on?
No.
You got like 4 to 6 pay-per-views every month from all these wrestling companies.
I've barely watched any full pay-per-view since like Hell in a Cell 2018.
No, that's another thing, though. And they made everything so cheap to watch the pay-per-views.
That's a
I haven't even watched Evolution.
That's a pay-per-view everybody would like to forget.
So, I've been giving more, like I said, I'm praying AEW stays good and they don't mess it up. I really, I was okay with TNA for a while, but then I stopped watching that completely. When Bully Ray put himself on that table to get himself hit, the way he put himself on that table, I was like, okay, fuck this shit. That was like the last time I watched of TNA. He just put himself on there. He didn't let the opponent put him on there. He went on the table himself. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, either he put him there or I would have put him on there.
So, but no. With all the stuff that we do now, we can't watch every pay-per-view and everything that's going on with all this wrestling going on. With all the amount of wrestling that we got. Like I said, AEW, WWE, NXT, this and that, Raw, SmackDown, all this stuff. Like a lot of people like me at Double Z, we can't have time to sit back and really watch all this stuff that's going on.
If I could be perfectly honest, the second brand extension sucks.
And that part I don't freaking get. I think WWE could be a lot better if they just had like one brand. Because, the whole Raw and SmackDown, you're not really in competition with those. You got AEW, that's more of your competition.
It is competition.
Yeah, but I'm saying, why have the Raw and SmackDown? That's not doing much. It's have, one roster, try to make it as good as you can. You're going up against these other wrestling companies. AEW is going to be kicking ass.
But one issue, though, is if they have that means they're probably just going to rely on the same handful of people to appear on both shows. So you're going to have most everybody just being in catering the whole time. So it's like if you at least have separate brands and have people signed, they at least have a better chance of having more than just the same exact people appearing on television every week. You might have at least some other people to change things up. So it's like if you have everything one brand, you're just going to see Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and sometimes Brock or Edge or just any of the main card guys. So it's like you're not going to have room for anybody else to appear because you're just going to rely on the same people.
Exactly, and it's a shame because there are some wrestlers on the rosters right now, the main rosters, that can wrestle, but they're not being utilized because they can't move merchandise. They can't get over or they're not over with the fans. And that's the thing, with the WWE, it's not about if you're over or if you can wrestle, it's about how much merch you can sell. Now, that's what it comes down to. How much money can you make me this week? That's what it is. And it's a shame because you have a roster full of people in WWE that can wrestle, and they're not being utilized. And if they're put on TV, guarantee you they're getting squashed. If you got quite a few women sitting backstage right now at WWE in catering, right? I guarantee you if they put them on one of those women on Raw, it's only to further push a readily established talent, or put them in a spot where it makes it look like Shane is breaking their arm again.
I said it before, don't take the PG out, bring it back to the way it was. That will really help because the PG is not. It's killing them. It's killing them.
TV 14 is not going to work nowadays. Look at how sensitive the world is. You try to do something
No.
edgy,
Come on,
everybody,
dude,
the
you got all
freaking
the-
snowflakes lose their mind. And
You
then
got all the
WWE is just going to
Bro,
bow down.
they have a petition signed. There's a petition signed right now going around that they want to remove the slaughtering of the firefighters in the beginning of the Halloween Kills movie.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Michael goes ape shit and kills a whole bunch of firefighters in the beginning of the movie, and there's a petition signed to get that scene removed.
What?
See,
Why?
think about that. You can't do anything edgy without the snowflakes losing their minds. If they try something extremely
Don't
any kind
watch
of
the
edginess
fucking
in
movie.
WWE, the snowflakes are going to lose their minds, and then WWE is just going to cater them and freaking back down because they don't want to freaking piss off the fans. They don't want to do anything that could piss off their advertisers and risk losing any ad revenue or anything like that. So why would WWE want to push the envelope if they're going to be in so much fear about having any income coming along?
Those that want to complain just want to complain.
But again, WWE is going to bow down to their needs.
I got to
If
admit,
I
though,
could-
what's
if I
the
could be-
difference between the people?
I mean, think about this for a second. Look at the controversial stuff they've even removed from freaking Peacock and the WWE Network. Like, you don't have Bad News Braun and Piper from WrestleMania 6. You don't have the incident of where Vince dropped the N-word at Survivor Series 2005, or the Nation, or the time where DX mocked the Nation of Domination because you had freaking X-Pac dressing up with blackface and pretending to be Mark Henry just for the skit. Like, you can't do anything that'll push those boundaries because WWE is just going to erase them from history because they don't want to piss people off.
Exactly.
But think about it.
if I could
With your
add
favorite
something-
wrestler, though, what made you get into them? Like, what made you
Hold on. Jordan wants to say something.
It's Jordy. Thank you very much. Listen, back in the 80s, we had a thing where, when we were in the business, this is what happened. We had to be larger-than-life characters. We had to do what we had to do to get the fans' attention and make sure they know who to cheer for and who not to cheer for. At that time, we were on a payroll, and we had to do our jobs. And that back in the day, it was when it was real PG and real, clown work. But as things go on, there was not enough politics involved. However, there were a few incidents, though. Like, take a look at WrestleMania 7. Need I say more? And then there's a lot of things that happened, too. Like, even after the Hulkamania era. We had the New Generation era, then the Attitude era. We had there were no problems back then. But as wrestling has evolved, and as it of its own, industry and business, they have no choice but to cater to these, politics. Otherwise, they'll lose their own money and they'll lose their own, satisfaction from viewers around the world. That's what they're going to do. They're going to cater to an audience that are more into wanting to see what they want to see and what we don't want to see.
And to touch on that, what Jordy just said, to touch on what he's saying too, is that wrestling back in the 70s, the 60s, the 70s, and even somewhat in the 80s, that you had to be 18 years of age or older to go into a wrestling event. Back when my dad was growing up and he was watching wrestling and he was going to Madison Square Garden to see wrestling and stuff like that, if you were not 18 years of age or older, you weren't getting in. And that's the thing now. The wrestling fans are getting younger. I see it every day in my line of work. I see it every day. I got little kids coming in. I saw a little kid the other day. He had a Roman Reigns t-shirt on, and he was buying a Roman Reigns figure. On another day, I saw a little kid wearing a Finn Balor t-shirt, and he was buying a Finn Balor figure. And these kids, and I'm not talking like 10, 11 years old. I'm talking like 4 or 5. So it's like the dynamic is definitely changing as far as the fan base. So WWE has to evolve with the fan base. But on top of everything else is that back in the Attitude Era, okay, there was things that even my parents didn't want me watching, but I was old enough to be able to watch it. Like, for example, Sable taking her top off and having the handprints. I wasn't able to see that. I recorded it. And my dad went into the room before I went to bed. He's like, I need you to black out that part of Sable taking her top off. Or when Sable and Sonny had when Sonny had did the centerfold for Raw magazine, and she was wearing practically nothing except for the tag team titles. I didn't get to see those pictures. So it's like, and even when Sable did the same thing with Raw magazine and WWF magazine, I wasn't able to see those pictures either. So it's just like it goes to show you that you have it comes down to the parental guidance, the parental guidance, pretty much.
There you go.
Because if you know, like, okay, for example, let's see. I'm trying to use it.
The thing is,
Don't worry, you won't offend me.
The thing is,
say however you want.
No, it's not that. I'm trying to think back to like a moment. Oh, okay. Case in point. When Moxley had that match, what was it with Brian something Cage, and they took the pizza cutter and they were going across each other's foreheads with it.
Oh, Nick Gage.
Yeah, Nick Gage. Okay, so you have that. Let's take that match for example. Okay. Parents were pissed off that match was on Dynamite. But the thing is, they told you that it was going to be they even tell you before the match starts that if this is not for kids. So if your child is watching, put them to bed or change the channel. That's what you should be doing. That it's a bunch of BS that as adults we have to be subject to this stupid crap that WWE is doing because they're trying to cater to the parents and the kids, and they're losing their hardcore target audience, which is us adults who, if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't be where they are right now because of the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era is never coming back, and people need to realize that.
That's obvious.
And we're never going to get those matches. We're never going to get those kind of matches. Yes, they push the envelope a little bit, but we'll never get a match like Nick Gage and Moxley on a WWE show, or Jericho and Gage on a WWE show. We'll never see those matches on a WWE show ever again. They might push the envelope and give us something, but we'll never see that aspect of it. We'll never see the match that Britt Baker had several months ago on Dynamite, where she was busted wide open and they just let her rock. They won't show that. They won't let the women in the WWE do anything like that because you got kids, and that's what brings it to me. That's what, case in point, is that when I was a kid growing up, if it was deemed inappropriate, I wasn't able to watch it. I didn't get to see the movie. I didn't get to see the original Friday, the first Friday movie, until I was about 16 years old. I didn't get to see the movie Juice until I was about 16 years old. I didn't get to see Boys in the Hood until I was 16 years old.
Watch Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, you never saw Boys in the Hood with Ice
Cube I never
and
saw
Cuba
that.
Gooding
No.
Jr.?
Never heard of it.
Great movie. You should watch it.
For fuck's sake.
The point being
No. It's not something funny. I got another privacy complaint.
Wait, what?
What?
On what?
This is the 10th one in 3 months, and now this one is on my response video to Dick Cheese.
Oh my god.
The point being here is that when it comes down,
he flagged it or what? You think he flagged it or what?
When it comes down to it,
we'll talk about this off air. We'll talk about it off air.
I can't fucking take this anymore.
Anyway,
I'm legit ready to punch my freaking fist to the wall.
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I'm not allowed to have a damn YouTube channel at this point, to the point where some freaking midget dick having piece of trash is trying to get me ticked off? I'm on my damn channel minding my own damn business, yet somebody's trying to get me flagged down. I'm freaking sick of it.
Is there anything else you guys want to bring up before we because this is what I have to talk about off stream.
Well, I'm just trying to
I know Jordy's trying to say something.
Go ahead,
I'm just trying to say that's the whole point. They're going to cater to the younger audiences all the time because they want to make sure parents can watch as well, and that way, if the whole family's watching, then that's it. However,
No, that's also why I had one more thing to it, because with kids, more money spent out of the parents' pocket.
yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, there's a difference between making quality and also trying to, make certain, people happy. If you're making quality regards to wrestling that for everyone that could actually enjoy, whether it's for kids or not, that's one thing. But the other half, it doesn't always work. Even if you mix the two together, it ain't gonna work. It never worked for me. It never worked for Hogan. Never worked for Warrior. Never worked for anybody in that category.
If you get like a room full of 5-year-old kids and you got them if watching the Monday Night Wars, and then between watching the stuff that's going on now, what do you think they'd be more interested in? What do you think they would like better?
I'll tell you right now, they're not going to be interested in seeing Barack Obama versus Hillary Clinton on Monday Night Raw. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm talking about
I can tell you right now, AEW is for the hardcore wrestling fans.
It's not PG.
The traditional, no, I'm not talking about it being PG.
I know.
I'm talking about the wrestling aspect of it. To see great matches 2 nights a week, 3 times a month, depending on the they're on pay-per-view months, and on a pay-per-view week, you know what I mean? So you're gonna see, and then you got the WWE where they deliver maybe once in a blue moon a great show. But the thing is, you got all those characters over in WWE that target to kids. The John Cena's, the Roman Reigns, the Finn Balor's with the demon paint and stuff like that. Those characters are characters that the kids can get behind. And then what the thing is too is that WWE needs to stop letting the fans dictate what gets put on WWE TV, because
that's the problem.
We wanted the fans. The fans pushed for Kofi for Mania in that WWE Championship title match at Mania. What was it, 36, right? 35, 36? 35. The fans pushed Kofi got Kofi that match. Okay, Kofi won the title. After his first title defense, it was like, oh, okay, they're gonna let Kofi rock for a little bit. That's when he retained the title on his second defense. The fans turned on him, even though that those same fans that wanted Kofi to win that title going into Mania, and that were with Kofi after that first title defense, turned on him after the second title defense. Same thing with
Seth Rollins.
Same thing with Seth Rollins. You want Seth Rollins in the picture. You want Seth Rollins in the main event. You want Seth Rollins to turn heel. And now all of a sudden Seth Rollins is heel and you want him to turn face again. Make up your mind.
Dude, that's what I've said in my own podcast, where I've had a video dedicated saying wrestling fans don't know what they want. If they scream for something, when they get it, they suddenly don't want it anymore. They'll find any reason. Like when Kofi was WWE champion, they were making every excuse possible to say why they didn't want Kofi as champion anymore, saying, oh, he's not believable. Oh, he's too goofy because he's still doing the New Day thing. And then it's like, why did you people want him pushed in the first place if you were just going to change your mind right afterwards, find any excuse possible just to say that you don't want it? Of course, he was going to retain the New Day stuff because that was his New Day friends, the ones that got him to the WWE Championship match. And that gimmick was still selling money and everything. And they had that New Day shirt with the WWE Championship. So, of course, they are going to freaking still keep the New Day part. I mean, and try to say he's not believable. But then you guys should have freaking been rooting for somebody else to be freaking that you say is believable to be WWE champion instead of Kofi if you're just going to use that stupid excuse. Exactly.
It's just like what Spectral's saying in the chat right now. He said that WWE is he's saying that if they give the hardcore fans what they want, they'll eventually get bored of that and wrestlers and want someone else. Most of the niche hardcore wrestling fans are the ones you are seeing on Twitter, Squared Circle, and wrestling forums. Smart say they want the Attitude Era back, but are offended when they get an Attitude Era content. Exactly. That's the thing about it, is that we get what the fan they give us we want. We ask for an inch, they give us 5 miles, and then they bitch about it. Case in point.
Look at Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke when they were building to, I think it was like SummerSlam a few years ago. Jinder tried getting heat by doing a bit of a racist thing, like asking why all Asian people look the same, and people were freaking outraged saying that's too far, you can't do that. It's like, he's a heel, he's trying to get freaking heat, for God's sake. He's trying to be like the top heel in the company, and yet he can't even do that because otherwise people lose their damn minds.
If you're in WWE, you try to be a heel, you're limited to what you can do.
I mean, like, that's the closest thing he could do to being a heel, because for some reason people think that if you're a good heel, that means we like you. It's like, no, you're a good heel if you get that negative reaction, and that's what the heel is supposed to do. They're not supposed to try to be cool or anything. They have to get that negative reaction so that you don't cheer for them or have sympathy for them or cry saying they're being buried. You're supposed to want to see them get their asses kicked at the end of the day.
There's something I have to add to, though. There's something I got to add that's important.
But then there's MJF.
Go ahead.
There's MJF when he would do all certs. Those
Hold on one second. Hey, Fernando. Thanks for tuning in, bro. We'll see you on the next podcast. Happy birthday to your mom and her 56th birthday. Have fun, man. Hope you have a good night. Tell her from Too Sweet Wrestling Podcast, we say happy birthday.
Yeah. But either way, I was gonna say MJF. Sure, I think he goes, a little bit overboard with the certain promos about Brian Pillman Sr. just to build up with Brian Pillman Jr. However, that's the whole point. You're not supposed to like it because you wouldn't want to say that to someone else to their face or to someone in real life about who's already dead or not. And then there's, the thing with him and Sting, with Lex Luger, again, it's always the same. If you can't get heat, if you're going to be the bad guy, you got to do what you can to get heat.
Yeah,
I couldn't do that back in the day, but at least I could get booed if I wanted to.
Exactly. And the thing is that at the end of the day, it's MJF. MJF is a heel when the cameras are on. He's a heel when the cameras are off. He plays that character on and off. I have a coworker of mine. He goes to a lot of wrestling events. No matter, he went to New York for both shows for Grand Slam. He's going to Survivor Series at the Barclays Center in New York. He's going to, I believe there's a couple of other shows he's going to. He goes to a lot of shows. He's been to the last few WrestleManias, so he's definitely going. But he even said that he got a chance to meet MJF, and he's the same way that he is on camera as off camera. As he does not, he says he's not going to change it because he figures that he does not want to be that wrestler where he's an asshole on TV and then he's a nice guy off TV. So I think that I'll say this: I don't think we'll ever see MJF be a good guy ever. Because he plays being a heel way too damn well on and off camera.
Hey, I always wanted to keep being a bad guy. I wanted to keep being a bad guy, but when everyone started buying my merchandise and started, seeing me how I was doing, I mean, like, I couldn't help but turn face. But then there were times I had to turn heel, with the Macho King gimmick. Hey, it worked. It worked.
So it's just it's a pain. It's a pain in the ass because that's why wrestling is frowned upon now, and it's not taken seriously. AEW is trying to correct that, and is trying to fix what has been missing for so long. And I think that's another. I think on top of that too, I think that's another reason why ROH is closing their doors for a little while to rebrand and relaunch, because they were an indie promotion company that was loved by millions of people. And they have a lot of the talent that you see these days on wrestling, whether it's AEW or WWE, have a good portion of them have gotten their start down in ROH or New Japan Pro Wrestling and stuff like that. So to see them go from where they were before they closed their doors to go back to being an independent indie company, it's gonna suck. But hey, if it's good enough for them, I can't knock. You know, if they don't want to be on the scale, on the level as the WWE or AEW, you know, I can't knock them for that.
They have to do what they can to survive.
They might rebuild. You know, you got to start from the bottom, work your way to the top. I mean, they did it once. They could do it again.
Spectro says kayfabe is virtually dead nowadays. If you criticize a wrestler on social media, they block you. Correct. That's absolutely true. I've never criticized because I don't go on Twitter and do that shit because there's no point. But I mean, I'll go on Twitter and I'll comment on, you know, a wrestler's Twitter, say, hey, good match tonight, or hey, you know, good segment, or hey, you know, just random bullshit, you know what I mean? But it's right now, wrestling, like I said, wrestling is frowned upon. You can't have a serious conversation with somebody. They're like, oh, what are some of the things you like to do or like to watch? And I'm like, oh, I like watching wrestling. Really? You like wrestling? Like that's how it is now. That's like how it is now.
That's a wrestler that says, oh, well, I like to watch anime. I mean, I like to watch this stuff. You know, that kind of.
Oh, well, the thing is, I'm not into anime.
But I'm saying a lot of hold on, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about of all the kids were asking, like they asked the wrestler, what do you like to watch? Instead of saying wrestling, if these wrestlers say, oh well, I'm into anime, I'm into this, I'm into that, like cool stuff that kids like to do. And they'll give that person more of a chance.
Sometimes wrestling, you know, and the thing is too, I watch a lot of YouTube wrestlers on YouTube, and they go and they film all their like their adventures out and about in the real world, and they're just nerds just like all of us. You know what I mean? They all collect wrestling figures, they all collect anime and Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and all that shit. Like they're just like us, except for they get paid to be on TV. You know what I mean? Like it's like Alistair and Zelina. They had their YouTube channel. I think one day they went into a toy store, and they must have spent about $2,000 on just collectible figures and Magic cards.
But also another thing to it, like if the wrestler's like his life is nothing but wrestling and not doing anything else, like it's gonna be hard for. It's kind of like a bodybuilder in a way, because if his life is nothing but weights and all that stuff 24/7, it's nobody's gonna want to do that kind of shit. And
so it's just
there's more to life than just one thing as far as wrestling.
Yeah, and then you also have wrestlers that are into the streaming and gaming too. So it's like, you know, it's they all have their own niche. But I'm saying, like, if you were to strike up a conversation with someone that you just met, you know what I mean, whatever, and you'd be like, oh yeah, you know, I watch wrestling, I play video games, I watch wrestling, I work, you know, and stuff like that, and they'd be like, and out of all the things you tell them, the one thing that catches them off guard is like, oh, you watch wrestling? Like, you know, like they look down at your nose at you, like, fuck yeah, I watch wrestling. You got a problem? Pull up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like how I get some damn times. Like, especially when I'm at work, people are like, how old are you? You still watch wrestling? I'm like, fuck out of here. I go, you're how old and you still watch cartoons? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're how old and you're fucking collecting comic books? You know what I mean? Like, fuck out of here.
So I still collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards or certain cards. It's like how people collect fucking pop figures. Who gives a damn? I'm working, I'm making more money than you, and I'm still scoring with girls. So why the fuck are you judging me?
Like watching wrestling is kind of like playing video games. At one point, it's not cool, and another point, it is acceptable. Spectral
just made a comment, and I swear this screams Double Z, because this is something he would say. Spectral says some of the wrestling fans today are plain weirdos. They write weird fan fiction and watch hentai and even review it. I can see Zach saying something like that
in the community.
And some of them
there's a few actually.
Too. Hey, Wrestling Snowman, what's going on, brother? But it's like, it's like I said, at the end of the day, I mean, wrestling fans need the people. Let's just put it this way. I'm gonna quote a wrestler that I met. These wrestling parents and wrestling fans, no, people of the world. I'm gonna say people of the world because this goes beyond just wrestling. People are soft, plain and simple. Because the thing is that you go see a movie, okay? You go see a movie. Now, you pay the money to go see this movie for entertainment aspect, right? So after you're done watching the movie, you have the right to give your honest opinion about it. Not to fucking go run off, create a petition to get something removed because you feel that deemed that it's not necessary. Okay, if you want to remove, I'm going to talk about Halloween Kills for a second because it's Halloween, so it makes sense. If you want to remove a scene in a movie that depicts firemen being slaughtered and killed by a maniac wearing a mask, then why don't we just stop making movies in general? Because I want to say a good 75% of movies being made are either Secret Service agents being killed, military people being killed, police officers being killed, someone being killed. Let's just stop making movies altogether.
For a reason.
Let's go ahead and make movies where lions don't get killed in The Lion King. Okay, fine.
Okay, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, let's why stop at police officers? Let's go to animated cartoons and let's remove Bambi from the history books because Bambi died.
I thought Bambi's mom died, not Bambi.
A hunter killed and shot Bambi's mother.
It wasn't hunters, it was evolution that killed it. No.
Okay, so let's get mad because the cartoonist stopped drawing the fucking deer for the next hour of the movie.
Okay, Chandler Bing.
I knew you were going to get that.
Oh, God.
But
yes, it was so bad when the guy stopped drawing the deer.
Yes, I'm sorry, but it's the case in point. It's the truth. If you're going to get so bent out of shape over something so small, then why fucking go? Why go see it? Why go participate? Why go do it? You know what I mean? Like, movies are there for entertainment. They are to suspend our imagination, to further our imagination. Some people take it a little bit too literally.
There's going to be those people that'll take something so small and make it serious because they got nothing else to do with their little lives. That's just how fucking life is, dude.
They'll take a crumb and turn it into a loaf of bread. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that for no reason. No reason at all.
So small and try to make it more than what it is.
These movies have their ratings and their warnings for a reason, saying, hey, if you see this, you can expect some of these things. Like, they're warning people ahead of time. It's like with the video game. When you look at the rating on the back of it too, it says, hey, it's meant for this, like, kind of age demographic, and saying you might see some of these type of things in your video games. It's like, you look at Grand Theft Auto 5, it's rated for freaking adults because it's got like violence and blood and drug references and sex and all that stuff. They warn you ahead of time. So it's like, you can't try to claim ignorance saying, oh, it was too far. It's like the freaking thing warned you ahead of time before you even got your hands on it.
So focus less on others and just focus more on yourself and your kids, okay?
Hold on.
It's also the same with rated R movies, you know? Like, whether it's got gore, violence, sex, or even anything that is in general regarding to the film or drug, relations, they still warn you ahead of time before they show you the movie trailer. So don't go blaming.
So I just want to turn heads to the chat real quick. Wrestling Snowman says, hope you guys are having a great Halloween weekend. Yes, we are. I know I am. Spectral mentioned soft, just like The Undertaker. Whatever happened to no animals were harmed during the making of these films. SJWs just can't accept the fact that life is not fair. Exactly. The thing is that there have always been rated R movies, and there's always been M rated video games. There's always been T rated video games. There's always been TV 14 programming. There's always been TVMA programming, and then there's also been TVG programming. And you know who? Let's just put it this way: the millennials. Okay, if something wasn't deemed appropriate when I was growing up, I wasn't able to watch it until I was appropriate age. And I think everyone, I think parents that were, kids that were born in the 80s, like myself, were raised that way. Then you have the kids that are born, in the 2000s, okay, that their parents give them every little fucking thing that they want without, checking what they're buying. You know how many times I see kids coming into my store walking out with Call of Duty or walking out with GTA 5 or walking out with a Resident Evil game and they're like 8 years old? Then don't fucking come to me telling me that your game gave your kids nightmares. Or my kid walked up to a girl in school and smacked her and says, "Where's my money?" because they did it in GTA. Don't blame video game violence on real life on your kids' fucking wild behavior. It's like Zach said, it's rated M for a reason. It's rated T for teen for a reason. You don't want your kid going to school and acting like a fool, then buy him an E-rated game, a game that's suitable for his age.
Stick to Minecraft and Roblox. Exactly.
Or Lego games. You know what I mean? Like, because like when I like the first time, okay, granted, all right. The first time I ever played an M-rated video game was Resident Evil 1 on the PlayStation. And I played that when it came out. I'm talking, went to Blockbuster, rented the fucking game in 96. Okay? But I didn't rent it. My brother rented it, but I played it. I played it with my brother. I watched him play it. I would play for a little bit, and then, and then that was it. But there's also a little thing called imagination, and being able to separate make-believe and real life. And that's what's happening, is these kids are being subject to these video games, the violence and movies and TV and video games and things like that. And then parents want to come in and they want to tear shit up because they couldn't read a freaking tag or a label on the fucking front of a video game. I mean, am I right or am I wrong?
You're right. You're correct about it. 100%.
I don't really give a shit what other people do with their kids because they're not my fucking concern.
Like, I know that, but I'm saying though is that it's those parents that are gonna ruin. That's what I'm saying is it's parents like it's people like that will ruin it for everybody else.
Well, it's fucking obvious, but I mean, even so, there's not much. People raised in the 80s, everything's way different the way it is now. There's not as much strict parenting as there used to be, or the amount of it from the 80s to now, it's massively declined.
Okay? Yeah, the point he's trying to make is
everything now is like a common thing. Like every kid needs to apparently have to have a freaking Android. Kid needs to have a freaking PS5. So,
but the
it's promoted all over.
Far easier.
It's promoted all over the damn place.
Yeah, but the point
you can't hide it.
Listen, the point he was trying to make was it's the fact that don't go running and crying to us like if we were video game developers that made a violent video game. Like, don't come crying to us saying that your kid got nightmares when clearly this kid's like, 9 years old? Well, listen, he shouldn't buy a game that is not suitable for him. That's why they had the thing called 17 plus for mature audiences for video games. I mean, if you're gonna give him a video game, then let him get one that's rated E for everyone or ages 10 and up,
Yeah,
but not exactly. You can't let kids around. If you got like a young kid, you don't want them exposed to this stuff. There's a lot of shady kids. And if you
They're
let your
shady
kids,
kids, but then again, there's always going to be kids that
but
know
they're
that
going to
you
expose
find.
your kid to it, and they're going to want to do the same thing they're doing, either because they like it or because they want to fit in with other people. So you got young kids now who are experimenting with drugs and shit. They just want to fit in. They'll fucking do it, even if they don't want to. But they want to try to find their place to fit in, and it sucks to see that.
Yeah, exactly.
I really don't want to get further more into this whole parenting bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
I don't. Like, what the fuck are we doing right now?
Well, it's just coming down to the point. The fact is that it's coming down to the fact it was just like how much the outside world is influencing what's going on. Just not even just in wrestling, but in the real world. You know what I mean? Just like with the thing with the petition for the firefighters. It's just like that with wrestling, where we want something, and then when we get it, we bitch about it to the point where then they have to then they figure out, oh, you know what? The fans don't want it, so let's change it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. It's
kind of like here's the thing. Like, let's say if Double Z, like, you know, people want to see Double Z punch the shit out of Dick Cheese. He does give it to us. We see the video, like, but then they're mad afterwards. But then give them what you want, but then they're mad about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the bullshit. So it's
so I wanted to touch on I know Jordy did this video the other day, but I wanted to touch on the Nintendo Online expansion. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that are having an issue with the subscription. I know $50 I know is a lot of money for this subscription. But if you already have a Nintendo Online account, you get discounted off of your upgrade. So, like, for me, I only paid $25 for the expansion for the online for the whole year because I still have 6 months left on my my Nintendo Online. So when I went to go sign up for the online expansion, it charged me like 26 and change because they charge you tax. So, but they're supposed to be releasing. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was going to be 32 or 34 games for the N64, and then there's supposed to be 52 games for the Sega Genesis. Give or take. I don't know if it's going to be anything like. The way I look at it is, if I'm not going to have TMNT Hyperstone Heist, I don't care. I am looking forward to seeing what Mario stuff they're going to add to the N64. But I know there's a lot of people that are experiencing input lag on the Nintendo Online, and I know that there's people also experiencing not being able to play any of it because they either got bad ROM. It's either bad input for them or the how they coded it. Just the only issue I have with, since I been playing it, and I've been playing it every day since I got it, is I noticed the thing with the door on Mario 64 when you change the camera and you move the camera around, the door looks like it disappears and stuff like that. Like little mini things, small things like that. But gameplay input wise, I haven't had any issues with it. So I'm wondering if I'm like one of the select few, like I had mentioned in Jordy's chat that day, that I haven't really had many issues with it. I'm kind of hoping that the games that they add are going to be worth that $50 price point, because I know at the end of my year I have to pay $50 if I want to continue that. But I also know that you're not only getting the Nintendo and the Sega, the N64 and the Sega games. From what I'm to understand, they're going to be adding DLC that you can get for free as long as you have that $50 subscription membership. So I have to see what happens going forward. But I'm loving it. I just wish that there would have been more games that I personally would have liked to have played with the N64 drop. But yeah, I mean, I have emulators on my computer and stuff like that too, but I thought it'd be kind of nice to be able to take shit on the go and play. I don't know if any of you guys want to go ahead and weigh in on that real quick before we wrap this up for the night.
I can't say much because I'm just in the I just do the PlayStation store. I don't do the Nintendo thing. But I'm pretty much cut back on.
I got
video games.
nothing to add because after all, that was Jordan. You know, that wasn't me yesterday.
And I know, Zach, you said that you haven't had a chance to get it yet.
I'm not even gonna bother because, yeah, it's cool to be able to play some games from the older Nintendo consoles on the go because of the service. But I've seen the footage of stuff, like, especially because of what Junko showed on Jordan's live stream just recently about all that footage of how awfully wrong it's got. And plus, like, if I want to play those kind of games and everything, I got the original hardware right here at home with terms of the consoles and the cartridges and everything.
Well, okay, I'm glad that you explained that because I was about to say, yeah, I got hardware too.
It's like, I like doing it the old school way if, like, other methods don't work. I have no problem, like, going with emulators if something goes wrong, but it's like, that's my preferred method rather than having to rebuy or re-download anything through another service. It's like, especially with the way the shape and the release has been, it's not worth your money. If there are so many problems, like with music and input lag and connection issues, just trying to do multiplayer with other people, it's like, it's honestly not worth your investment.
I think
they don't have WCW NWO Revenge on there either.
I don't think we'll see any wrestling games on the N64 aspect of it on any of it.
Actually, you won't get WWF or WCW branded ones, just ones that aren't even affiliated.
Yeah, you know, WCW Backstage Assault.
Or Mayhem.
No Superman 64.
Oh God, that was a bad one. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, I got it because for nostalgia, because I like to be able to take and go and play on the go. I mean, I have some of the original games. Like I have WrestleMania 2000, I have NWO Revenge, I have Warzone, I have Attitude. I don't have No Mercy, which I wish I did.
I've got No
that's
Mercy
going to be
right
on my.
desk.
That's going to be the next one on my list I'm going to get. So it's just like I have the cartridge. I just have to get it. I'm trying to get the one from my buddy because the pins aren't working on my old one. So I got to get that Jungle Green. As much as I don't want to take it, even though it's been opened, but it has never been played, so I don't want to use it. I want to just keep it on the box and put it on my shelf. But I might have to get another N64 just so I have a working one and see if I can get one that's modded to play both regions. Because I do have some Japanese carts. I have Diddy Kong, Pokemon Stadium, Diddy Kong Racing, Pokemon Stadium, and Super Mario 64 in Japanese. Do you have the virtual pro wrestling games, JC? No, I do. The virtual pro wrestling? No, I don't. I have I have all the SmackDown versus Raws. I have all the WWE 2Ks with the exception of 17 on the 360. I have all the SmackDown versus Raws on the GameCube, not GameCube, on the Wii. And I have a couple of them on GameCube. So I don't have all. I'm trying to get all the wrestling games. But I have Pro Wrestling on Nintendo. It'd be great to have a remastered version of those games on the modern consoles. It would be amazing to have. I wouldn't mind if they remastered No Mercy and remastered Revenge with the same controls for the Nintendo Switch, or just in general, just those same games, just remastered. Because I think that's what they're doing with the AEW game. It is going to be the gameplay is going to be similar to the No Mercy and the WrestleMania 2000 and NWO Revenge, but it's just going to be, obviously it's going to be current graphics and it's going to be AEW stuff. So with that being said, before we close out the video, the next couple of weeks we have the podcast coming up on the 13th. Let me pull up the calendar.
November 13th. It'll be before Full Gear of All Elite
Yes. So here's what the game plan is. I know Chase probably won't be able to attend unless you're off of work on that day. And Zach, if you're available, we're gonna do a 2 hours prior to Full Gear. We're gonna do a 2-hour podcast here. And then then over on JMAN's channel, we are going to do our live reactions to Full Gear as we're watching live. So if that's something you guys want to check out, make sure you go over into the description box, head over to JMAN's channel and click the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can be made aware when he goes live that night. Also, in the description are the lists for all the socials and YouTube accounts for Chase and WCW TV. And on November 27th, we are going to do a Survivor Series podcast. We are going to talk about some of our favorite Survivor Series and some of our favorite matches from Survivor Series pay-per-views. I already have like 3 of my favorite Survivor Series pay-per-views. I got to go and I got to start watching and getting the matches ready for that. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that podcast as well. That's going to be November 13th and November 27th. Do you guys have anything else you want to add before we close up for the night?
Just be sure to like, share, subscribe, and snap into a Slim Jim, and have a happy Halloween from the Too Sweet Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
Chase, Zach, you guys want to add anything before we head out?
Not much. Just want everybody to have a nice Halloween. There's a few things I'll have to discuss in a bit after this. I'll probably go on live on my channel and talk about it. Because I want an explanation to a few people of some stuff that's been going on.
All right. And Zach?
It is what it is.
Remember, when in doubt, pull out.
Words to live by. All right, guys. So with that being said, I want to thank you for sitting in and tuning in to watching us talk about some of our favorite WCW Halloween Havocs, NXT Halloween Havoc, and some pure rant about wrestling in general. With that being said, have a safe and happy Halloween. Don't do anything too crazy. Be safe out there because we do know there are weirdos out there. And also make sure, parents, if you are letting your kids go out trick-or-treating, make sure you guys are inspecting that candy. With that being said, like always, if you like what you see, leave a comment on the video. Leave a like. Also, if you didn't get a chance to comment in the chat, you're more than welcome to comment in the comment box below. All the links for all the socials and YouTube accounts for the members of the panel are in the description box as well. So be sure to head on over there and make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe, which will help the further growth of their channel. Like always, plant the seed today for a better tomorrow. And like always, thank you for being too sweet, all elite. And we will catch you guys on November 13th. Have a good night, and we'll see you then.